What is up, hooligans? And happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More likes equals more hooligans. Going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats. So let me know how you hooligans are doing today. Then, of course, we will be getting things started. What is going on? We're dropping frames for some reason. Hopefully that fixes itself, because I don't understand why that's happening. Come on, internet. Jesus loves us. Are we going to have a bad day today? There you go. Hit 6. Like, fuck, maybe this will fix itself. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, we'll read through the shit and we'll see how it goes. Come on, recover, internet. I don't want to have a bad day today. Anyways, before we get any further, I want to remind you hooligans really quick that my birthday is coming up. So if you would like to send me something for my birthday, we will be doing a birthday unboxing on March 11th. So you are welcome to use the wish list link or the P.O. box if you would like to send me something for my birthday and be a part of the birthday unboxing. So give me a second here. Drop these links in all of the chats really quick, as I see that the internet is not recovering, which doesn't make any sense. We're going to end up having to reset this live, damn it. Yep. Everything's taking a shit, which sucks. Come on, internet, pick up. Nah, maybe it's going to straighten out. Alright, we'll see. Maybe it'll fix itself. Anyways, like I said, we're going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we'll see if we're going to be able to continue or if we're going to have to reset things. Either way, we'll be starting with a follow-up video titled OpenAI Considers New Powers to Fend Off Elon Musk's Takeover. The last video we covered with OpenAI, Elon had made a bid. I don't remember how much it was, some generous amount. But Elon was bidding on OpenAI. He's like the co-creator of OpenAI, but they had differences and split up. Now Elon's just trying to purchase the company. OpenAI is making moves to try and prevent that from happening. Then we got a video title, White House claims that Elon Musk does not run DOGE in new filing. Now, they don't say who does, but I don't know if this is semantics or what it is, but the White House making claims that Elon's not in charge of DOGE. Then we got a video titled, AI robot used to combat loneliness in aged care facility. Apparently, there's people in old folks' homes, and 60% of them do not receive visitations, which is pretty crazy. I've never known anyone to be inside of an old folks' home, so I don't really have experience with this. But apparently, on average, 60% of the people in those homes do not get visits, so they're dying alone. And to combat that, they are going to start making AI robots to keep those people from being lonely in those facilities. Then we got a video titled, A Robot Assistant Could Help Construction Workers on High-Risk Jobs. This is kind of useful, but at the same time it's underdeveloped, so right now it's just gimmicky, but it's kind of like having a robot help you do construction work. Now, it's not a humanoid robot, it's more like a table with an arm on it. And like I said, it could be useful in the future, but the way it is right now is just kind of gimmicky. Then we got Zelensky acting like a child. It's titled, Zelensky says Ukraine won't accept peace deal without input. Apparently the US is over in Russia trying to do some peace deals, and Zelensky found out. Apparently he didn't know that was happening, and he says since he's not at the table, he will not accept a peace deal. Like I said, he's just acting like a child. Then we got a video titled, Green Berets heading to train Mexican troops. You guys kind of mentioned this yesterday, so I figured we'd add it to the schedule. We're going out there to train them how to fight off their own cartel and to protect their side of the border. Then we got a video titled, Astonishing. Elon Musk's Doge exposes age range in Social Security database. Apparently there is people between the ages of 110 and 369 years old currently collecting Social Security. You may be able to tell why that's a problem, because none of us are that old, so there's got to be fraud. Then we got a hilarious video titled, Senator Kennedy saying that Democrats have to try harder not to suck. Senator John Kennedy is a badass, and I figured that would be a good way to transition into our fun stuff for the day. We will be opening today's door from the Advent calendar that Josh1776 sent us. Then we got our first funny video of the day titled The Legend of the Screaming Goat. And then our official funny video of the day is titled How to Handle the IRS. I don't know if we're going to have to reset this or not. Sometimes I glance over and we're doing fine. Like right now we're doing fine, but a moment ago half the live was dropping out. So I don't know. We're going to try and make the best of this. We're going to say hello to everybody. And if these numbers still look like shit, I'm going to have to reset the live and do the hokey pokey. Anyways, what is up everyone over on jeffmaclive.com? What's up Dan the Man? What's up Jay Spray? What's up Josh1776? What's up Snooks? What's up Matt Rogers? What's up Larry? Happy freedom you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up everyone over on Rumble? Snooks, you were first today. I appreciate everything you do for all of us, Snooks. What's up Ghostly? What's up Puff and Stuff? What's up Kevin? What's up Wayward? Happy freedom to you. What's up HBick? What's up Seppa? What's up Appeal to Heaven? What's up Paul? Happy freedom to you. You hooligans, hit that like button, see if you can get us on the front page. And what is up everyone over on Kick? What's up MurderCom? What's up Zeus Boot? Happy freedom to you. And what is up everyone over on Twitch? What's up Tony Rich? Matt Rogers, you're omnipresent. Appreciate you. And what is up everyone over on the communism platform? Matt Rogers, you are truly omnipresent. What's up Cindy? Happy freedom to you. What's up Too Real? What's up Cheeky Chops? Let me see here. You guys writing paragraphs. Hold on a second. Appreciate all of you hooligans being here over on YouTube. And what is up everyone over on X? Wayward, you are omnipresent. Tony Rich, appreciate you. I think you are omnipresent as well. You hooligans are awesome. All right. It looks like the internet straightened out, so we're going to make the best of it, but I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. I don't know why, but we dropped 4,877 frames, and that's, well, 4,000 too many. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started into things, even though I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something. I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. Like I said, we got this follow-up video titled OpenAI Considers New Powers to Fend Off Elon Musk's Takeover. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick that we have these epic winning t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting his link in all of the chats for you hooligans to have the opportunity to hire him for your creative needs, because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, dog tags, and we even made tumblers in this design. Today I got on the spooky green hooligan badge. I will be posting the link to the merch store in all of the chats while we're watching this first video.
OpenAI is considering granting special voting rights to its non-profit board to preserve the power of its directors, as the ChatGPT maker fends off an unsolicited takeover bid from Elon Musk. That's according to the Financial Times on Tuesday. The report said the board members, including CEO Sam Altman, are weighing new governance measures as the company transitions to a traditional for-profit structure. If implemented, these special voting rights would allow the non-profit board to overrule major investors like Microsoft and SoftBank, ultimately ensuring it retains decision-making power. OpenAI did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. While no firm decisions have been made, the move could help OpenAI block future hostile takeover attempts, including from Musk, who co-founded the company with Altman but later departed. Last week, the startup rejected a $97.4 billion acquisition offer from a consortium led by the ex-owner. It said the startup is not for sale and dismissed any future bids as disingenuous. Musk's offer is his latest efforts to prevent OpenAI from becoming a profit-driven company. That's as it seeks more funding to stay competitive in the artificial intelligence race.
All right, like I said, that's a quick follow-up video there. And as I mentioned, Elon Musk had just put a bid on OpenAI. Of course, in that video, they mentioned that OpenAI is not for sale. Elon is constantly going after them. He is the co-creator of OpenAI and the ChatGPT bot and all of that stuff. They had differences and they parted. Ever since, he's been talking shit about OpenAI. He says that they lie, that they claim to be a non-profit, but then they're obviously charging memberships and stuff to be able to use the ChatGPT to its full potential. So that seems kind of like it's for profit. So he's constantly dogging them. He's doging them. And they don't like it. They were talking with President Trump after the inauguration. You know, President Trump did that display about the new AI and something about like mixing it with medicine and creating personal vaccines for each person. I don't know, scary sci-fi kind of stuff. But after that happened, Elon started attacking OpenAI on Twitter, and then, like I said, most recently he made a bid to them to try and purchase the company. Now, obviously, they don't want to go that route. Next up, we got White House claims Elon Musk does not run Doge in the new filing. It's kind of unclear who does do it because they don't mention it, but I don't know if this is semantics or what. You know, like if you have a different job title, you're still the guy running things, but your job title's not administrator. Well, then they're claiming you're not the administrator, but really you're the guy still running shit. That's what this kind of sounds like. Not really sure. It's coming up next, though. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about OpenAI trying to dip and dodge and duck to get away from Elon Musk. Matt Rogers, the people cashing in checks need to be in prison. Absolutely. Well, I can't believe our government... Like, we have the capability of spying on foreign countries and all this other crazy shit, CIA carrying out assassinations of foreign presidents and whatever. But then we can't tell that 369 years old is a little bit too old to be receiving Social Security checks. Like, how's that going on? They don't care about spending that money, I guess. That must be what it is. What's up, Hair Juicer? Happy freedom to you. Larry, -23 this morning, pipes froze. Now it's all good. Well, I'm glad you're doing all right, Larry. That is code. That is code out there. What's up, Tony Brez? Happy freedom to you. Let me see here. Patriot Dad, that woman speaking doesn't sound real. AI? It definitely could be AI. Most commercials that you see on TV nowadays is all AI. I don't think people realize that, but every once in a while I get in a situation where I'm seeing commercials on TV and 90% of them are AI. It's crazy. I don't know if it's got to be a cost thing. It's more cost effective to generate AI videos than to pay actors and write a script and do the whole deal, I guess. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for that $1 donation over on Rumble. I really appreciate you, Patriot Dad. Thank you so much for the support. It says, Happy Freedom, Hooligans. Happy Freedom, Patriot Dad. What's up, Resident Alien? Happy freedom to you, if I can get you all ready. What's up, Paul? What's up, Nobody's Fault? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Fanatical? Happy freedom to you. Let's see. Kevin. Yeah, man, it's sad their family doesn't ever go see them. Now, the children over on TikTok brag about this stuff. They brag about not going to see their family members in old folks' homes. They say that they deserve it for being mean. They were mean to them when they were kids. And so now that they're 20 years old and their, parents are starting to get elderly, they're constantly bitching about it. And some of those liberals, like I said, they'll even put them on camera. They'll go in the old folks' home and put them on camera and talk down to them and mistreat them and stuff, and then brag about it in the comments, saying that they deserve it. They deserve that treatment because their parents were mean. My parents were shitty to me, but I don't think I'd have enough. There ain't enough hate in my heart to go and do something stupid like that. I don't know. The younger generation is vile. Murdercon, man, I hope Elon brings back the EPA's public documents. I was just doing research on sarin gas leaks at Johnston Atoll chemical weapons deactivation site, and the sources are taken down. It seems like things are kind of coming and going. Murdercom, CDC raced a whole bunch of stuff about HIV or something when President Trump made it so you can't have DEI anywhere, and then some judge claimed that was a health risk or something like that, so they're forcing the CDC to bring all those web pages back. So I imagine this is happening on multiple platforms where they're taking stuff down, turn around, bringing it back. I'm not really sure though. What's up, Viola? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Killer J? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Doge Clock? Happy freedom. Cheeky Chops, you sent me an email. I have something weird going on with my email where it's not sending me notifications. I don't know what the deal is, but I have to manually go check the email every day now because it just will not send me notifications. I have no idea what that's about. Like, how do you force Gmail to do what it's supposed to fucking do? Like, I don't know what to do. It's like, if I could call Google, I got a whole mind full of shit to say to them. What's up, Cinderella? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Ziggurat? Happy freedom to you. You seen a fellow hooligan in Jefferson City? What is MO? What is MO? Missouri? Yes, MO. I guess, right? That's crazy. That's awesome. How did you guys know? Were you wearing merch? What's up, Garrett? Happy freedom if I can get y'all ready. Cheeky chops. I don't want to buy $100 worth of edible meat and it sit in your P.O. box for weeks. No, it won't sit for weeks. After 3 days, they'll mail it back to you. It said hooligan on his car. That's badass. What's up, Mike Ingalls? Happy freedom to you. It's cold in St. Louis today. It's cold here. Last time I checked the weather, it said it felt like -9. Josh 1776. Ice minivan fire bombed in Philly. Interesting. I didn't see anything about that. I'll have to look after the live. I was having a hell of a time finding news. Larry, yeah, my notifications are turned on for Gmail. They just aren't doing the thing. I don't know. It's like a dog that won't bark. It's like, okay, do the thing, and it ain't doing it. So like I said, now I got to manually check my emails. Somebody, I think it was Proud Patriot Girly or somebody asked me if I had got an email yesterday, and I was like, no. And then I checked and it was like, yeah, but I never got the notification for it. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move forward here. We're still dropping frames. It's not terrible right now, but I do not know what's causing that. There's nothing like having a Lamborghini that can't go faster than 20 miles an hour. That's how I feel sitting here with this computer setup. I don't know a beating heart that has a better computer setup than I have. And then I struggle to push out 6 megabytes worth of internet. It's fucking bullshit. Anyways, we'll get through this next video and see how things are rolling. Like I said, it's titled White House Claims Elon Musk Does Not Run Doge in This New Filing. Now, they actually add some details in here. They talk about some individuals who are quitting. There's like somebody of defense just quit today, and I think they're going to talk about someone else, the head of Social Security or something. They just quit too. They do not like what's going on with Trump and all that, so they're dropping left and right. But either way, the main point of this video is the White House claiming that Elon Musk does not run Doge. Again, I think it's a big ball of semantics, but either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
This morning, a top official at the Social Security Administration steps down after clashing with the Department of Government Efficiency over access to personal records, 2 sources told ABC News. ABC News has learned Elon Musk's team requested access to an IRS system that contains the personal information of millions of Americans, including their tax filings and bank statements. Top administration officials insist this does not mean Musk and his team will go through private tax returns of individuals.
I can give absolute 100% insurance. I give you complete and total assurance on that point.
Now, questions are swirling over who actually runs Doge. In a new court filing, the White House clarifies that Elon Musk is not the administrator, but did not say who is. A judge is considering whether to block Doge from firing government employees and accessing data from certain departments. A ruling is expected as soon as today. Meanwhile, a federal judge in Washington has temporarily denied an attempt to block Doge from accessing sensitive student loan data at the Department of Education.
13
Hundreds of recently hired employees at the FAA have now been fired just weeks after that deadly crash at Washington's Reagan Airport. And sources at the IRS say 15,000 workers have been identified for possible termination.
We call it layoffs sometimes, but that's not what it is. It's an illegal firing. And, it's just not credible to say that thousands of people were determined to fall short of expectations.
The firings impacted more than a dozen agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, Veterans Affairs, and the CDC. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
All right. So, not a whole lot of information there. Like I said, people quitting and stepping down and getting fired and whatever, running away from President Trump's agenda. Elon Musk supposedly does not run DOGE. So I'd like to know, what is his title other than being a special government employee? What is his job title for DOGE if he's not the administrator? And if there is an administrator, who is the administrator? I wonder if Elon himself will post about this on X, because it's kind of confusing. Next up, AI robot used to combat loneliness in aged care facility. I just talked about this a moment ago. Weird situation where apparently the majority, 60% of people in old folks' homes do not get visits from family members. And to combat this, they're going to start making AI robots to kind of behave like grandchildren to keep them from being lonely. This is a really sad thing happening in our world. That is crazy sauce, that this is how we're going to combat this. I don't know what a good alternative would be other than maybe having schools go visit these people, like maybe the marching band or the choir or what, drama club or whatever, like acting, performing, that kind of stuff. Have them go visit the old folks' homes once a week or once a month or something like that. I figure like that would be better and free compared to having AI robots, because what happens if the robot goes rogue and starts beating grandma to death? Who's going to stop it? The big 350-pound nurse sitting behind her desk, sitting in there smelling like shit? I highly doubt it. So either way, I don't think this is a good idea, but that's just my opinion. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this Doge situation with Elon. Also, I seen someone say something about President Trump potentially going live. He's supposed to be signing an executive order right now. I see that Right Side Broadcasting is live, but after being burned 6 times by the president, I'm not even convinced that he's even going to go live. So I got this pulled up. If he decides to go live today and come hang out with us, then we'll put him on the screen. Otherwise, we're getting into the AI robots hanging out with grandma. All of that is coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat. Larry, Elon's title is the Eliminator, and Vivek is the admin. Vivek's gone. Vivek's not even MAGA anymore. He's running for governor of Ohio. He's like, I don't know. He's on his own. Matt Rogers, schools used to put performances at care homes. Yeah, see, that sounds like a better idea than AI robots. I don't know. I feel like if I was older than I am now and I was locked in a home and nobody gave a shit about me, I don't think the toaster wandering around making noise and waving its arms around is going to make me feel less lonely. It's not a living thing. I think giving the old folks home a good supply of guinea pigs would be worth way more than having a robot walk around, like rolling around doing karaoke and shit. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel less lonely buying more appliances. Anyways, we'll go ahead and put this in the background, give you guys something to look at while we are reading through the chat here. Done. Wish I could talk to an AI version of my grandma. I miss her yelling at me. I feel that way sometimes, Dutton, but I feel like it's kind of like when you watch those TV shows and they bring loved ones back from the dead. You know, like what is it called? Like necromancy. And then when they bring them back, it's never the way that it was before they died. I feel like this would be the same thing. We did cover one time some sort of AI stuff where it's going to try to replicate your personality. And that way, like, you could sign up, you're going to go through this process where they're going to analyze you. They're going to take whatever data they get from you. They're going to put it in an AI, and your loved ones can purchase access to this AI, so it's like you never left. We covered a video, something along those lines a couple months ago, but I just don't think anything would be the same as having the real thing. My grandma and my grandpa that raised me pretty much my entire life, they're both dead right now. And it was the first time in my life that I've ever felt alone. I've been alone since then. Until when they were still alive, I had to worry about them being ashamed of me and my choices and things like that, and I worried about that stuff. Now they're dead, and I don't have those obligations or worries anymore. It's the first time I felt alone in my entire life, and like I said, I've been alone ever since. But I don't think having an app on my phone or a robot wandering around the house kind of pretending to be them would make me feel any better. I just don't think it would. I just don't. And people, the other thing is that companies are going to capitalize on this. They're going to use human misery to build up these AIs and sell it to you for way too much money. You think TVs and cell phones cost too much? Just wait till these robots are available at Walmart, right? It's gonna be crazy costly, but they're gonna take advantage of it. Snooks, dogs, and cats are taken to nursing homes to help them too. And yes, the old get dumped and not visited. Yeah. Well, yeah, bringing dogs and cats there would be good too. Of course, there's going to be people who are allergic to dogs and cats, but either way, I think living things are better than robots. Yeah, Patriot Dad, exactly. Pet Cemetery, that's a great example. What's up, Mr. B New? Happy freedom to you. What's up, MU? Happy freedom to you. Cricket Kiss, DC real estate is tanking. Yeah. Well, it's because all the crap they got going on there. I don't know who would want to live in DC. Cricket Kiss, it's -11 there with the wind chill. That's freezing. Definitely stay warm out there, Cricket Kiss. What's up, Kung Fu? Happy freedom to you. Patriot Dad, I hate funerals. I like to remember people when they're alive. Yeah, I feel the same way. I hate funerals too. Murdercom student loans are one of, if not the largest U.S. asset. What would he be looking into if it's not debt? Fraud. They're looking for fraud. They're looking for debt, but they're also looking for fraud. So that's probably what it is. But as far as I know, they have no intentions of wiping student loans or anything like that. They halted Old Man Walter's student loan forgiveness, and they've been undoing all of that. And there's a bunch of students that are all pissed about it. But like I told you guys for years, I wasn't holding my breath. I owe 42.9 thousand doll hairs in student loan debt. I want to say it's like $42,906 or something like that, and only $20 goes to the principal every month after I pay $250 a month. And I wasn't holding my breath waiting for the shit to get wiped. It's my debt. I signed up for it. I signed up to pay it off. I wasn't waiting for Old Man Walter to wipe it, but the liberals were. They were, and they even went out and signed up for more school because they thought that Old Man Walter was going to wipe that debt, and he didn't. What's up, Master Voltaire? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Guess Who? Happy freedom to you. Guess who? There was a Social Security hack after the nation's largest background check providers were over 200 million numbers were stolen in September. Yeah, we covered it. What's up, Vinny? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Mr. Dude? Happy freedom to you. What's up, T. Lawden? Happy freedom. I swear the guinea pigs is a good idea. You know how cheap guinea pigs are? Hook them up. What's up, Skulls? What's up? What's up? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Rhyme Time? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Blue Crow? I don't know if we're going to see the president or not. I never know what to think about this situation because the White House media crew is dog shit. They'd be better off just giving President Trump an iPhone. Just like, go live, Mr. President. Whenever you feel like it, just hit the go live button. They'd be way better than whatever their media crew is doing. Matt Rogers. I was 15 when my dad passed away. I have a cassette recording from a mayoral debate. It's nice to hear his voice every once in a while. Yeah, I believe that, Matt. That's good you got that. I have a letter from my grandpa. It was like the last letter he wrote me. And it's in his shaking handwriting. I got one from my grandma the same. And every once in a while I'll come across them. I have all their letters they ever wrote me. What's up, Rip Curl? Happy freedom to you. Well, hooligans, I don't think President Trump's going to be on the screen in the next 3 or 4 minutes, so we got time to move forward here. Like I said, I don't have a lot of grace for this White House Live stuff anymore. They just keep burning me. Like, and you guys don't get to see it. That's the thing, is you don't get to see the stuff. The last time he was supposed to go live, I had to sit here for 2.5 hours, put the live on hold, put scheduling on hold, sit here and stare at Right Side Broadcasting just for them to turn around after 2.5 hours and just cut it loose. Just, oh, I guess he's not going live. Oh, well, and cut it off. And it like wastes my whole damn day. It makes me late and causes problems. Like I said, 10, 11 times of that, I ain't got grace for it. I got it pulled up over here. President Trump wants to go live. We'll put him on the screen. But until then, we're going to move forward. This next video here is AI robot used to combat loneliness in aged care facility. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick. If you'd like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out, as we're making Saturdays more fun. We're going to get into this really quick here. Like I said, this is titled AI Robot Used to Combat Loneliness in Aged Care Facility. Now hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Let's move on to a different topic and talk about aged care, because I read something today that I was quite shocked to discover. 60% of people in aged care facilities never get a visit from friends or family, which, as I'm rapidly approaching that age, Caleb, it got me thinking.
Hey, you said it.
Will Caleb Bond come and visit me when I'm in an aged care facility? Well, there's an aged care place in Paran in Melbourne which have come up with a novel way of trying to alleviate loneliness and isolation amongst aged care people. They have come up with a companion robot. Now, this robot apparently recognises people, understands emotions, we're told, and is able to make friends. And those in the aged care facility, you can see there, are said to be treating the robot as a grandchild. Now, if this trial is successful, the intention is to put similar robots in 22 aged care facilities around Melbourne. I watched a report on one of the commercial news stations, and as they came back to the newsreaders, they were laughing and saying, oh, this is amazing, this is fantastic. I've got to admit, Caroline, I felt kind of sad about it.
Very sad. I felt the same.
Firstly, that we would accept as okay that, 60% of elderly people never get a visit from family and friends, but it doesn't matter because they've got a robot that they have befriended. And the thought that we would assuage our guilt for failing to take care of our parents and our grandparents because it's okay, they've got a humanoid, is a really sad thing, and I think an indictment on society. Second...
All right, talking about the humanoid robot, as you can see, they make it all colorful and childlike with its big eyes, looking like a cartoon character. Now, they don't really describe what it's going to do. Is it got games? Is it... Can you talk to it? Is it just rolling around like an over-glorified Roomba? They don't really describe that. And like I was saying, I think that there's a lot of other cheap or even free ways that are better ways to keep people from feeling lonely and make them feel cared for without providing them with a fancy toaster, right? It just, like I said before, I don't feel less lonely by having more appliances in the house. And that's all it is. It's just rolling around doing a bunch of nothing, pretending. You might as well get them a Bop It. That's what they should do. Get them a Bop It. And it'd be way cheaper than doing a robot. I don't know. They think they're really doing something, but all it really feels like is we're all going to eventually end up in life where we're all alone, we're isolated, and everything around us is artificial. The way we interact will be through social media. Nobody will live in the house with you except for the damn robots. You'll be able to go wherever the self-driving cars allow you to go, and you'll be able to live wherever the government allows you to live. And that's like, they might as well just put us in prison, really, because that's where we're marching to, is to being isolated and nothing around us is real or good for us. I don't know. It's not a future I want to live in. Next up, a robot assistant could help construction workers on high-risk jobs. Now, this is a little bit more useful, but its current state is more gimmicky than anything else. But this could potentially be a good idea for robots. Now, before we hop in the chat, President Trump decided to come bless us with his presence. So let's get into this. Go ahead, hit that like button and share this out.
Firefighters, so they're here throughout the room, and I want to thank you very much for being here. I'll be with you in a little while. We'll do some great photos. We have plenty of time. Policemen, police women, and firemen, firewomen, they're here, and we appreciate it very much. You've done a fantastic job. I think it's very important to state that incredible things are happening in our country. I think we've made more progress in 3 weeks than they've made in 4 years, especially with respect to the reputation of our country. And people are respecting us again as a country and as a powerful country, and maybe a smart country, but maybe not so smart, because when you look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that's being uncovered by DOGE and the people at DOGE, these are young, often young, but super brilliant people, incredible computer scientists and other things, and they're finding levels of fraud and waste and abuse like I think nobody ever thought possible. But before we do that, I just want to ask Will to come over. I've just finished signing some executive orders, and if we could start with that, Will, you might want to come up here and just explain what we did. Thank you.
Good afternoon, y'all. A short while ago, President Trump signed three items. The first is an executive order relating to the affordability and availability of in vitro fertilization and other fertility treatments. These are treatments that have become unaffordable for many Americans, or have been unaffordable for many Americans. And the executive order is a directive to the Domestic Policy Council to examine ways to make IVF and other fertility treatments more affordable for more Americans. The second item that we signed was a presidential memorandum imposing radical transparency requirements on government departments and agencies, in keeping with President Trump and the administration's broader commitment to governmental transparency. What this presidential memorandum would do is require, as waste, fraud, and abuse is uncovered, as programs are canceled, and ultimately as taxpayer dollars are saved, this presidential memorandum would require departments and agencies to make all of the details of that freely available to the public. Lastly, we have another executive order that President Trump signed relating to independent agencies. This executive order would establish important oversight functions in the Office of Management and Budget and its subsidiary office, OIRA, supervising independent agencies and many of their actions, and also reestablishes the longstanding norm that only the President or the Attorney General can speak for the United States when stating an opinion as to what the law is.
Thank you very much, Will. That was the primary purpose of this conference, to explain that they're all very important in their own way. Fertilization, I've been saying that we're going to do what we have to do, and I think the women and families, husbands, are very appreciative of it. But that was it. I do want to say while I'm up here, I've been contacted by some of the biggest companies in the world, and because of what we're doing economically and through tariffs and taxes and incentives, they want to come back into the United States. And we'll be announcing various very large companies, the biggest actually, and they'll be coming back, having to do with chips and having to do also with cars and lots of other things. We're going to be announcing some very, very big, momentous decisions are being made by companies all around the world, the biggest, and they want to come back into the U.S. Car plants are being canceled in other locations now because they want to build them here. And you read about a couple, not that I want to mention names or anything, but you read about a couple of big ones in Mexico just got canceled because they're going to be building them in the United States. And that's very simply because of what we're doing with respect to taxes, tariffs, and incentives. And I think it's a very important thing. And you'll be seeing this over the next probably over the next 2 years, to be honest, but you're going to see a lot of it over the next couple of weeks. A lot of big ones are going to be announcing. And so while we're here, I guess we can take a couple of quick questions. Go ahead, please. Please.
Mr. President, have you decided specifically what the auto tariff rate should be?
Yeah, I probably will tell you that on April 2nd, but it'll be in the neighborhood of 25%.
What about semiconductor semiconductors and pharmaceuticals?
It'll be 25% and higher, and it'll go very substantially higher over a course of a year. But we want to give them time to come in because, as you know, when they come into the United States and they have their plant or factory here, there is no tariff. So we want to give them a little bit of a chance. Yes, thank you.
The EU, Andrea Shalal, the EU representative is going to be here in Washington tomorrow. He's going to be meeting with Hassett and Greer and Letnick. What can the EU do to sort of avoid the reciprocal tariffs that you've talked about? And, you know, you've talked a lot about the VAT. Do you expect them to reduce that?
Well, they did already, as I understand it, reduce their car tariff all the way down to what we have. And a lot of that will take place, and I think some won't do it and some will do it. But the EU had a 10% tax on cars, and now they have a 2.5% tax, which is the exact same as us. So already we've saved a tremendous amount. That would be great. If everybody would do that, then we'd all be on the same playing field. Because essentially what we're doing with the tariffs is, you know, they charge us, we charge them, same amount. And it's called reciprocal, actually. And whatever they charge us, we're charging them. And so the EU is, you know, I appreciate that they did this, but, you know, the EU has been very unfair to us. We have a deficit of $350 billion. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They don't take almost anything. They take very little. And we're going to have to straighten that out. And we will. I have no doubt about it. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Russia talks, your impression of how they went today, and if you're perhaps more confident or less confident of a deal after what happened today?
Well, much more confident. They were very good. Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there? It's soldiers are being killed by the thousands on a weekly basis. It's ridiculous. And they're not American soldiers. They're Russian soldiers, and they're Ukrainian soldiers largely, although a lot of Koreans have been killed, as you know. Quite a bit of them have been killed. They came over to fight, and a large portion have been wiped out. But we want to end it. It's a senseless war. It should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame to see it. And I see pictures that you don't see, but I see pictures of fields that look just horrible. It looks like Gettysburg. If you see the old pictures of Gettysburg, it's soldiers lying all over the field, body parts all over the field. They're all dead. And this is going on a daily basis. It's a horrible thing. Both Russia and Ukraine, they're losing thousands and thousands of soldiers. And a lot of people have been killed, too. I think that's one of the things that you'll see historically and you'll see later on as it goes along. I think people are going to be surprised at how many people, not only soldiers, have been killed in Ukraine. A lot more people than you think. Yeah, please.
President Trump, as part of a peace deal with Putin, would you be willing to consider removing all American troops from Europe?
Well, nobody's asked me to do that, so I don't think we'd have to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. But that question's never really come up. Yeah. Please.
Sir, do you support stationing European peacekeeping troops in Ukraine as part of this peace deal?
If they want to do that, that's great. I'm all for it. If they want to do that, I think that'd be fine. I mean, I know France has mentioned it. Others have mentioned it. UK has mentioned it. But, if we have a peace deal, I think having troops over there from the standpoint of Europe, we won't have to put any over there because, you know, we're very far away. But having troops over there would be fine. I would not object to it at all. We're talking about this now, peace. We have either a ceasefire or a peace itself, and we're looking to do both. We'd start off with the ceasefire, and if they want to do that. I know France was willing to do that, and I thought that was a beautiful gesture. Yeah, please.
Do you have any message for Ukrainians who, after 3 years of fighting, might feel betrayed or disappointed at not having a seat at these initial talks in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think I'm really disappointed in what's happened. I've been watching this for 3 years. It's a war that would have never happened if I was president, and I've been watching these people being killed at levels that you've rarely seen, not even close, since the Second World War. And I'm very disappointed. I hear that, they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years and a long time before that. This could have been settled very easily just a half-baked negotiator could have settled this years ago without the loss of much land, very little land, without the loss of any lives, and without the loss of cities that are just laying on their sides. You have those magnificent golden domes that are shattered, will never be replaced. You can't replace them. 1,000-year-old domes that are so beautiful, you can't replace that. The whole civilization has changed because of what. So when they're worried about not being seated, you mean somebody that should have gone in and made a deal a long time ago? You could have made a deal. This is one that could have made a deal. There was no talk of this during the Trump administration. Putin would have never, ever done it. And by the way, we wouldn't have had October 7th. You know that. We wouldn't have had October 7th either in Israel. And we wouldn't have had that mess that's going on over there. It's like we have great fire people here. We're putting out fires. All over the world we're putting out fires. So that wouldn't have happened. And you know what else wouldn't have happened? Inflation. Because it was caused really by the cost of energy going through the roof because of their bad energy policies and also their spending, their terrible spending, wasteful spending on the Green New scam. It's a scam. It's a whole big scam. Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. I want to ask you a little closer to home. What would it take for you to reconsider the restrictions on the Associated Press? And secondly, some of your advisors are concerned with the Associated Press's style guide, using language and giving guidance to not use words like illegal immigrant or to use phrases like gender-affirming care. And they're concerned about that being an encroaching amount of liberalism in the way in which the press writes about things. Do you share those concerns?
Well, I do think that some of the phrases that they want to use are ridiculous, and I think, frankly, they've become obsolete, especially in the last 3 weeks, because many things have happened in the last 3 weeks. And I didn't know about that, but I would say that if they want to use certain phrases like that, and I guess some are okay, but many aren't, but the Associated Press just refuses to go with what the law is and what is taking place. It's called the Gulf of America now. It's not called the Gulf of Mexico any longer. I have the right to do it, just like we have the right to do Mount McKinley, and nobody's even challenging that. But only the essentially, it's primarily the Associated Press, and I don't know what they're doing, but I just say that we're going to keep them out until such time as they agree that it's the Gulf of America. We're very proud of this country, and we want it to be the Gulf of America. Now, the Associated Press, as you know, has been very, very wrong on the election, on Trump and the treatment of Trump, and other things having to do with Trump and Republicans and conservatives. And they're doing us no favors, and I guess I'm not doing them any favors. That's the way life works. But, you know, thank you for the question. Who are you with? Very good question. Thank you. Yes.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating, and where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. The whole, I mean, so many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And, yeah, I would say that, you know, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people have to, wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also. You know, Ukraine is being just wiped out. Look at what's happening to the cities. There are cities, there's not even a building standing. It's a massive, you talk about Gaza. I mean, it's literally, these cities look like Gaza. Actually, many have, percentage-wise, more buildings knocked down than in Gaza. So, you know, people are tired of it. People want to see something happen. And, you know, the other thing that it's been bothering me for a long time, because I solved the problem with NATO. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars into the funds of NATO when I said you got to pay, because the United States was paying for European countries, and then they take advantage of us on trade. But I've seen it. Look, they have to pay. They have to find out, where's the money going to? We have, I believe, President Zelensky said last week that he doesn't know where half of the money is that we gave him. Well, we gave them, I believe, $350 billion, but let's say it's something less than that, but it's a lot. And we have to equalize with Europe, because Europe has given us given a very much smaller percentage than that. I think Europe has given $100 billion, and we've given, let's say, 300 plus. And it's more important for them than it is for us. We have an ocean in between, and they don't. But where is all the money that's been given? Where is it going? And nobody, I've never seen an accounting of it. We give hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't see any accounting. So I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that are being killed, and they're Russian and Ukrainian people, but they're people. Doesn't matter where they're from on the whole planet. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. But they chose not to do it that way. And President Biden, in all fairness, he doesn't have a clue. What he was so bad for this. He was so bad, so pathetic. It's so sad. But with all of that being said, look, it is what it is. When I left, there was no chance that this could have happened. But it happened because we had incompetent leadership at many different levels. But when you see what's taken place in Ukraine with millions of people killed, including the soldiers, millions of people killed, a big percentage of their cities knocked down to the ground. I don't know how anybody even lives there. You know, when they say they took a poll and Zelensky's at 4%, who's living there? You know, I mean, it's hard to believe that people live there. Their cities are being knocked down, and this is something that would have never happened. And by the way, for 4 years, it didn't happen. It was never going to happen. Go ahead.
One follow-up question. How would you counter the perception, because Russia's pushing for this, obviously, they don't really hold true elections, that would be a capitulation of some sort? How would you guard against potentially Russia installing a puppet government? And then finally, how would that new election have an impact on getting Zelensky to sign the rare earth minerals deal?
Look, you have leadership, and I like him personally. He's fine. But I don't care about personally. I care about getting the job done. You have leadership now that's allowed a war to go on that should have never even happened, even without the United States. Look, we had a president who was grossly incompetent. He had no idea what he was doing. He said some very stupid things, like going in for portions and all of the things. He made a lot of bad statements, but he's grossly incompetent, and I think everyone knew that. This is something that should have never happened, would have never happened. And I used to discuss it with Putin. President Putin and I would talk about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, I will tell you that. But there was never a chance of him going in. And I told him, you better not go in. Don't go in. Don't go in. And he understood that. He understood it fully. But I'm only interested. I want to see if I can save maybe millions of lives. This could even end up in a World War III. I mean, to be honest with you, you've been hearing now Europe is saying, well, I think we're going to go in and we're going to go. All of a sudden, you're going to end up in World War III over something that should have never happened. And, you know, it's a very sad situation. Yeah, please.
In a court filing, the White House said that Elon Musk is not a DOGE employee and has no authority to make decisions. Can you clarify for us today
well, Elon Musk,
exact role is there?
Yeah. Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you know, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant, you could call him whatever you want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things. I just said, just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And which I'm surprised it took so long, actually. But you know what? Ukraine's a bigger deal because people are dying by the thousands a week, thousands. But look at this, from 90 to 99, Social Security, 6,054,000 people. Well, that's okay. Maybe that's possible. You know, 90 to 99, maybe it's possible. It's a lot of people, though, at that. But people that live to 100 to 109, 4,734,000. Wow, that's a lot. That means over 100 years old. They're 4 million people. I don't know too many. I know people that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100. But over 120, from 120 years old, people that are 120 years old up to 129, 3,472,000 people. Wow. You know that can't possibly be, because the record is like, I think it's one person, a woman, lived to 127, but they have 3,472. Okay, but now we're going really in. People from 130 years old to 139-year-old, 3,936,000. Wow. I wonder if people are getting paid with all this. I mean, are these checks? And that's what we're checking right now. People from 140 years old to 149 years old, 3,542,000, 140 years old and beyond. Now we're really going, because we're looking to break the record by 25 years. People from 150 years old to 159 years old, 1,345,000. These are in the, by the way, these are in the computer files. This is what they do well. They're super. I asked Elon, who are these DOGE people? He said they're super brilliant computer people and they love the country. It's simple. Wait a minute. People from 160 years old to 169 years, 121,000. So 160-year-old people. 170 to 179,000, 6,087. But now, let's go into the real numbers. From 200 to 209 years old, 879 people. From 210 years old, I haven't met any of them. And if I did, I would bless them. I would worship the ground they walk on. 210 to 219 years, 866. From 220 years old to 229 years old, 1,039. And then you have two people, from 240 years old to 249 years old, one person. And there's one person that's 360 years old. That's just that. And then, where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance. Investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental, sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million for ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice. $25 million to go into Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $10 million for circumcisions in another country. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people? Can't we teach them about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Well, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money. They're one of the highest taxing countries in the world in terms of us. We can hardly get in there because their tariffs are so high. I have a lot of respect for India. I have a lot of respect for the Prime Minister. He just left, as you know, 2 days ago. But we're giving $21 million for voter turnout. It's voter turnout in India. What about, like, voter turnout here? Oh, we've done that, I guess. We did $500 million, didn't we? It's called the lockboxes. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Eskali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're doing it. But when I saw the Social Security numbers, I said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but we're figuring it out. Now, the good thing about Social Security and what I read is if you take all of those numbers off, because they're obviously fraudulent or incompetent, but if you take all of those millions of people off Social Security, all of a sudden we have a very powerful Social Security with people that are 80 and 70 and 90, but not 200 years old. You know, so it's a very positive thing. How about over here? Yeah, please.
Your reaction to Michelle King, the head, resigning after the DOGE?
Who resigned?
The head of Social Security.
I don't know. I mean, I resigned or got fired. I think got fired. You know, when you fire somebody, they always resign, and then they say, we resigned. But when you have numbers like that, I think really it's got fired. They have to get fired. Who would keep them? How could you have numbers like this? Now, the big thing is, how many of these people got paid? Were they getting paid? Were they getting paid? How many of them were getting paid Social Security? Because if that's the case, it's a massive fraud. We'll have to call those great Palm Beach police into this situation, right? You guys would figure that out very quickly. But how many of them are being paid? I mean, maybe millions of them, but it's a total fraud. Also, a lot of illegal immigrants are in Social Security that shouldn't be there. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Mr. President, there was a big wave of probationary federal workers who were fired over the weekend. Some of these workers focused on nuclear weapons security were immediately rehired. Do you have any concerns about how these terminations have
No,
played out?
not at all. I think we have to just do what we have to do. It's, you know, you're going to, it's amazing what's been found right now. It's amazing. You know, if we feel that in some cases they'll fire people and then they'll put some people back, not all of them, because a lot of people were let go. Don't forget, I got elected on the basis of making our government stronger and smaller, because we have millions of people that obviously they're paying millions of people that shouldn't be paid. And that has also to do with workers. Yeah, please. No, go ahead. Actually, yes, New York Times.
Mr. President, given your concerns about corruption, you said that if there were any conflicts of interest with Elon Musk, you wouldn't let him anywhere near it.
That's right.
DOGE and SpaceX employees are now working directly at the Federal Aviation Administration and the Defense Department. agencies that have billions of dollars in contracts with Musk's companies or that directly regulate his companies. How is that not a conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, I'm just hearing about it, and if there is, and he told me before I told him, but obviously I will not let there be any conflict of interest. He's done an amazing job. They've revealed, in fact, he's going to be on tonight, a big show called Sean Hannity at 9 o'clock, and he's on and I'm on, and we talk about a lot of different things. And any conflicts, I told Elon, any conflicts, you can't have anything to do with that. So anything to do with possibly even space, we won't let Elon partake in that. Yeah, please.
On immigration, sir, you said you would be sending the worst of the worst to Guantanamo Bay. What we're finding out is that there are a lot of low-risk migrants who don't have a criminal background who are also being sent. Are you thinking about this differently now?
No, they're going to be brought back to their countries. And with some persuasion, every one of those countries, everyone in the, as you know, every country is taking the people back. So some of them are going to be brought back to, many of them, any of them that are low risk, as you say, are going to be brought back to their countries. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can you give us a bit of an update on where you stand with Venezuela?
Yeah,
it's
sure.
oil. There's basically a monthly license that can soon extend.
Well, you know, we had Venezuela on the run, and it looked like that was going to be very good. And when Biden came in, as he always does, he screws it up. And they started buying millions and millions and millions of dollars of oil, billions of dollars actually, of oil, and it gave them a new life, a new really lease on life. But we'll see. We had some pretty good discussions with a lot of people within our government, in the United States government, that are involved in that. And Venezuela's a little bit early, but, you know, we were not buying from Venezuela. When Biden came in, for whatever reason, instead of just taking the beautiful, as I call it, liquid gold, we have more than anybody, they started paying a fortune to Venezuela. And we're looking at that, actually. Why did they do that? Why were they doing that? Why would they go to the enemy and give them billions and billions of dollars? Now, with that being said, as you know, Venezuela has said very strongly they will not take any illegal immigrant, any of the people that they sent over to us. They sent their gangs, probably the worst gang anywhere in the world, as bad as MS-13, maybe worse, and they came out of the jails of Venezuela. They emptied their jails into our country, and they said, we'll never take them back. Well, they took them back, and they're taking them back, and they are taking them back rapidly. They were sending a lot of people to Venezuela. They said they wouldn't take them back, and they are taking back. But we're looking at Venezuela very seriously, and we're going to be able to. Don't forget, I've only been here for 3 weeks. Yeah, please.
Just a little clarity on, are you inclined to continue to allow Venezuela, through, I think, Chevron and other oil companies, to export those petroleum products, or are you
maybe
trying
not
to pull back?
Yeah, maybe not. We're looking at that now. I just got here. When I left, they weren't doing anything. They were ready to go. We give up. And then Biden came along and he gave them literally billions of dollars. I couldn't believe it, actually. And we have so much under our feet, liquid gold. We have so much, and it was pretty amazing. So we're looking at that whole situation, why he did it. All right, how about one more? Yeah, please.
Tell us about the CIA drone flights over Mexico. Is this the next step in the war against the cartels?
Well, we're going to see.
Should they have authority to take lethal action?
Mexico's allowed a tremendous number of people to go through their country into ours, and even people coming from Mexico, and illegals, totally illegal. They've allowed people to empty jails into Mexico and then let them come through with this totally ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration. So millions of people have come in, and hundreds of thousands, and actually millions, are criminals. They came in from jails all over the world that release them into Mexico, and they come into our country. And they also came in from Canada, by the way, large numbers through Canada. In fact, when we closed up the one border, they came in through the other border. So Canada is not an uninterested party. But I will say this. We're dealing with Mexico. I have a very good relationship with Mexico, but I think Mexico is largely run by the cartels, and that's a sad thing to say. And if they wanted help with that, we'd give them help. But Mexico, if you look at what's gone on with Mexico for years now, but now especially it's run by the cartels. And they've allowed millions of people to come into our country from jails and prisons of other countries from all over the world, not just South America, Africa, Asia, all over. A lot from the Congo in Africa, a lot. They opened their jails. They came in through Mexico. And we have some of the worst criminals coming in from the Congo and other places. So it's not just South America, and it's not just Venezuela, but they opened their jails. And you know the crime rates in Venezuela and other places all over the world has gone way down. You know why? Because they've given us their prisoners, they've given us their drug lords and their gang members, and it's hard to believe that we accepted this. It's hard to believe that we allowed open borders, and we're taking in, you know, hundreds of thousands and millions of people coming in from all over the world that are absolute stone-cold criminals. In fact, 11,088 murderers, and many of those people have murdered more than one person. Why are they giving us these people, and why are we taking these people under Biden? You know, you had a border czar that never went to the border. Happened to be a vice president, never went to the border, never called the border people. I call them all the time. I speak to them all the time. But here's the good news. We have the most secure border we've ever had right now. As secure and even more secure than I had it 4 years ago. And the Border Patrol is doing incredible. ICE is doing incredible. Tom Homan's unbelievable. And Kristi Noem has been just working very, very hard. Very, very hard. And we have the best numbers we've ever had. And we're going to keep it that way. And we're going to find out how a thing like this could have happened to our country. Because who would allow this to happen? What they've done to our country is so sad. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, President.
President Trump from the Winter White House there at Mar-a-Lago saying, quote, "I got elected on the basis of making our government stronger and smaller." A lot of information out of the executive orders, but let's thank some sponsors.
All right. President Trump live today. I don't have a firm grasp on what exactly the executive orders were that he signed, but either way, he read a little bit about some of these videos we have coming up, especially talking about the age between 110 and 369 years old. There is a ton of people collecting Social Security in those age ranges, which obviously is not true. It's got to be fraud. I don't know. Maybe if we take away their Social Security, the vampires will reveal themselves. I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, let's figure out where we are here in the schedule. I think the last video we covered was robots for old people. Yeah, AI robot used to combat loneliness in aged care facilities was the last video we covered. Next up, we have a robot assistant could help construction workers on high-risk jobs. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about President Trump, as well as if there's any comments I can reach that have to do with the robots in the old folks' home. What's up, Cassie J? Happy freedom to you. What's up, 10 Man? Happy freedom to you. Zero. I don't know what that first word is. Somebody taught Grok 3 to accurately forecast earthquakes using simple predictive model. I'm happy for him. That's interesting. I haven't tried Grok 3 yet. I have access to it, but I just haven't had a reason to go check it out. I guess I'll check it out after the live. What's up, Turbo? Happy freedom to you. Josh1776. Can't wait for AI to be good enough to remake anime with Trump as the main character. I have seen little clips of anime with President Trump being the main character, but it would be cool to have like a whole series redone. Have like Naruto, but instead of Naruto, it's President Trump. Getting it. Zero, make them reapply for their jobs. Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that President Trump didn't explain that, because we covered that video yesterday talking about how federal workers for the nuclear weapons facility were fired, and then 3 days later we covered a video saying that they were all being brought back, or in an attempt to bring them back, but the facility doesn't have their contact information after they fired them. And so now it's a whole mess. Well, then they asked President Trump about it, and he was like, yeah, it is what it is. Why are they being brought back? Why were they fired if they're being brought back? That's what I want to know, and we can't seem to get that information for some reason. What's up, Free Thinking Texan? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tori Wayne? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Mary Todd? Happy freedom. What's up, Jeb? What's up, Pumpkin? I want billions of dollars. I have been good. I feel the same way, Pumpkin. I don't even need $1 billion. I'd take $1 million and be good. SEPA, that racist against 200-year-old people. Yeah, they should take their press credentials away. Fanatical, keep peeling this onion. Many more layers of corruption. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for that $2 donation over on Rumble. I really appreciate the support, Patriot Dad. Thank you so much. Says, I haven't heard my president speak real numbers in about 5 years. Yeah, old man Walter, he ain't good at numbers. He's 100,000, million, billion, trillion, million, thousand. I'm like, yeah. 2 words, made in America. Murdercon really wished the Trump administration would stop suggesting an election in Ukraine during an all-out war. Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny that he brought up Zelensky acting like a little bitch. He's acting like a child. We got this video coming up, but he is crying really hard because we got people over there in Russia right now negotiating peace and the war between Russia and Ukraine, and Zelensky found out, and apparently he didn't know. So now he feels like he was cheated on by President Trump because they went to go talk to Russia and didn't get permission from Zelensky first. So he found out that there was a secret meeting going on, and then he got all bent out of shape about it. Then he turned around and started making announcements saying that they could talk about whatever they want to talk about, but if they don't have Zelensky at the table, there will not be peace. And so now it just sounds like Zelensky doesn't want peace, and we all know what this is. He's mad that the checks aren't rolling in anymore. We're not paying his whole country to exist anymore. They should really be the 51st state. I don't know. I feel like the Ukrainians owe all of us. They owe all of us. The people who work at department stores are getting paid with US dollars because we sent so much money over there. So nah, that should really be the 51st state. And Zelensky, he should just shut the hell up because he's looking like a child. Like I said, we got a video about it coming up. What's up, XB? Happy freedom to you. What's up, BZ? Happy freedom to you. Master Voltaire, bruh, what are they, immortal? I guess. I'm saying this is how we're going to reveal the vampires. We're going to cut off their Social Security money, and they're going to have to start revealing themselves. I'm a little bit too old to become a vampire at this point, but, one can hope. What's up, Amazing Disgrace? Happy freedom to you. Amazing Disgrace. Funny we can't find our own nuke techs, but J6ers were all rounded up. Yeah, we were going off on that yesterday about how we're capable of doing this, but we don't know how to contact ex-employees from the government. Doesn't make any sense. What's up, loves? Happy freedom to you. Miss Gen X, maybe that's how illegals are getting benefits. The Democrats put them in that that over 100 years old category to keep them from voting, to keep them here voting blue as a fraudulent loophole. Maybe. It seems like it's kind of strategic. Like I said, we got a video talking about the age discrepancies coming up, and they say how many of each age group is in existence, and some of them are in the millions. There's millions of people that are 178 years old collecting Social Security, which obviously that's impossible. Something's going on. What's up, Bon? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Ken? What's up, Trisha? What's up, Moog? What's up, the kid? Got a bunch of hooligans over here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. What's up, Sanford? Happy freedom to you. Bobby, fucking vampires. I know. Wasting our tax doll hairs. Wayward has to be an inside job? Absolutely. It definitely has to be an inside job. What's up, Winston? Happy freedom to you. Winston, is it possible that the nuke techs never existed? They're ghost employees? I mean, maybe. I don't know. The thing is they won't say why they let them go and then turn around and hired them back. That's the real mystery, is like, why did that even happen? Let alone, why can't they contact them? They can't find their contact information? That's weird enough on its own, but they fired him 3 days later. They want to bring him back. Why? What changed? Nobody has any answers. There's no information on it yet. What's up, Giggling Spy? Happy freedom to you. All right, like I said, we're going to move forward here. This next one is going to be the last of our robot talk for the day. We've had quite a bit, actually. It's titled, A Robot Assistant Could Help Construction Workers on High-Risk Jobs. Now, I could see this actually being useful, but I think in its current state, it is just really gimmicky. Hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
From drilling walls to lifting heavy metal pipes, this prototype robot is being tested to assist construction workers in Italy. Its creators call it Concert. A key feature is its modular design. The idea is that workers can easily adjust the platform to suit different parts of the job. The team behind Concert hopes one day it can take all sorts of tasks, even high-risk ones, with little supervision, all on its own. Nicholas Zagarakis is the head of the Humanoids and Human-Centered Mechatronics Robotic Lab at the Italian Institute of Technology.
It can be used as a collaborative platform executing a physical demanding and repetitive construction tasks together with the human operators, but at the same time offers autonomous functionalities in which the platform can work alone inside the construction site with a minimal human supervision.
Sagaraki says Concert's legs and robotic arm can be adjusted, allowing it to quickly change jobs.
The actual manipulation system of the robot can be reconfigured to adjust its workspace settings, its payload capacity, and also the level of the forces that the system can apply to the environment during the execution of the construction task. At the same time, it's offering full flexibility in integrating different kinds of tools that are dedicated to different construction tasks, like drill tools, spraying, painting, sanding tools, and other type of grippers that are needed for the transportation of construction material.
He says the ultimate goal is to transition from general-purpose, low-powered robots to a new generation of machine that safely collaborates with people. Part of that is making sure Concert can perform in conditions that may quickly change in unstructured, hazardous environments.
In order to ensure the safety of the system, we have integrated a number of different sensors in the platform, starting from the vision, 3D lidars, and cameras, as well as ultrasonic sensors are used in order to detect the presence and the approaching of the human operators that maybe are working or moving close to the platform.
Going forward, the team hopes Concert will be able to take on an increasing number of tasks and say they're looking into AI and machine learning to let it check its own work.
All right, construction robots. Like I said, I could see that being useful, right? It's got a tabletop, it's got an arm that you can switch attachments on and all that stuff. Could be useful. But you see the way they're using it right now, where they got to have an iPad and they got to dick around with it, and then they got to manually change all the parts and do all this. You might as well hand a guy a hammer and just tell him to go do the thing. It'd be way more reasonable to have it be that way. It's more practical than to dick around with the robot to try and get it to do basic things. So that's why I said, like, it has potential. It could eventually be something worthwhile, but as of right now, it's just gimmicky. It's more work than if you were to just go do the job yourself. So I don't know. We'll see how that develops. We see lots of gimmicky robots and AI and stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, these companies are going to try and benefit off using these AI and these robots and all this stuff. They basically look at the way that we all bitch about things, and they're trying to fix it with robots and AI. And so we're seeing a lot of gimmicky stuff. Some things are okay. The robot in the old folks home, that's a waste of time. That's them just preying on lonely people. But this construction bot might actually have some purpose if they can get it worked out and make it a little bit more practical. Then we got coming up, let me see. Where are we in here? Next up, we got Zelensky acting like a child. It's titled, Ukraine won't accept peace deal without input, he said, stomping his feet and crying really hard. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this robot assistant out there doing construction work. Russell, lifting heavy things would be great. Yeah, absolutely. As I'm saying, it's got a tabletop. You can adjust it. It has purpose. It's just trying to make it go do the job seems a little overcomplicated. But I think, eventually with enough development, it could be useful. 10-man, some things, yes. Most construction, no. Yeah, maybe like building houses, yes. Working on roads, we'll see. We'll see, right? Zero, I do see this having potential. You should see the massive drilling CNC machines. Yeah, I've seen certain CNC machines. I don't know about massive drilling, but when I worked in the factory and we were making car parts and stuff, there was lots of CNC stuff that was happening. All the parts were all fabricated right there at the shop. Hair juicer, hell no. I'll show you a dozen robot fuck-ups right now. Yeah, hair juicer, you work around all kinds of dangerous stuff. I bet you know how these robots do in the construction field. 10-man, nah, it'll never make it. Yeah, it needs some more development. It's not doing real good right now. Like, it's sanding out the drywall mud, and it's like nah. You pay Juan $40 and he'll have that done in an hour. Like, nah, the robot's not efficient at this time, but maybe in the future. Matt Rogers, I hope it has a higher speed. Yeah. Well, and then when you trade speed, then you're compromising safety. So, and I wonder how much it weighs. A lot of times those robots are deceiving. Like the little one that was at the old folks' home. Thing's probably 200 pounds, but you wouldn't think so because it's only 3.5 feet tall. Zero, oh man, Hamas says the 2 babies and their mom are dead. Yeah, I don't know anything about the hostage situation. I know they didn't comply with President Trump's order saying that they had to release all of the hostages by noon on Saturday. And that didn't happen. As far as I know, Israel struck them, hit them with a rocket or a missile or a drone or something. And then nothing happened. And now they're releasing more hostages. But I don't even know how much they are, where they got these hostages from. I don't know anything about any of it. Foreign country problems. Yeah, I hear you say it's not very impressive from a robot. 10-man assembly line, most definitely. Yeah. Yeah, they could do that. Zero, we have polishing robots at work. That's kind of neat. I've never heard of that before. I'm going to have to Google it. Puff and Stuff, Zelensky is pissed that they won an election after ceasefire and before signing agreement to end the war. Yeah. Like I said, he's acting like a child right now. Jeb, I've done drywall work for 40 years and made a decent living before Juan. Yeah, a lot of people here do construction work, and they're the kind of people that give like drywallers and stuff a bad name. You see these groups show up and they got cheap labor and all that, but then they're like doing heroin in your bathroom and they're drunk the entire time they're working. Everybody's vehicle has a breathalyzer built into the dashboard. All of them got ankle monitors and tethers and shit, and it's like, I don't know. I hate that because that's good work. It's good pay. It's a good skill to have. And all the lowlifes here, that's all they do. And it sucks. It gives it a bad name. Bobby, he ran out of cocaine. Yeah, see, that's what's going on with Zelensky. He's mad that those checks aren't coming anymore. Stoner, Amazon had killer robots in their warehouse. I believe it. I believe it. Amazon is Walmart's biggest competitor. And Walmart is doing everything they can to try and keep up with Amazon. And eventually you won't be able to go inside of a Walmart. You'll just have that curbside pickup or they'll deliver it straight to your house. I can't remember what the year is. My buddy used to work at Walmart and they were constantly talking about the Walmart's agenda to compete with Amazon. And that was something they kept saying is eventually they're going to downsize their employees as far as like customer service and all of that because there's not going to be face-to-face sales anymore. Eventually, Walmart will just be warehouses full of goods that you'll either pull up out front and you'll use the app to order it and pick it up out front, or it'll be shipped to your house, but you won't go inside Walmart anymore. It'll probably be 10 years or so before they get there, but I keep hearing that that's the plan, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm glad to hear it, Faded. What's up, Disco? Happy freedom to you. Boosted Flames. They took our jobs. Mm-hmm. Picture Dad, there's some cool scientific robots at work. I believe it. Like I said, when I worked in the factory, there was all kinds of robots that did neat things. They didn't roll around though. They were like stationary, and they were like gigantic arms, and they would pick up car parts and put them inside of a machine, and it would like cut it all up. And you got too close to it, it messed you up. There's people getting messed up by it all the time. Right before I got hired in, somebody had got too close to the robot arm, and it like broke his spinal cord. Like it grabbed him and broke him in half. It bent his back backwards. Like he put the back of his heels to his head. And then the family was all pissed because he wasn't getting any money. He didn't follow policy, broke safety rules, broke himself, and then the company wasn't willing to give him money. And it sucked because he had worked there for like 25 years just to be broken in half by a robot. But you gotta make your choices carefully. XB, I thought I was the oldest one here. I'm only 258 years old. Well, hopefully you're collecting that Social Security before they look into that fraud. Mr. Dude, I would love to never have set foot in a Walmart again. They treat you like a criminal from the moment you enter. From the moment you enter to the moment you leave. Yeah, Mr. Dude, I treat those people like shit. I mean, I try to have grace for them, but you're right. They do treat you like a criminal. And so anytime I get stopped on the way out, which usually doesn't happen, they're like, hey, let me see your receipt. And I'll go, yeah, you too. And then I'll just wander out. Like I misheard them, and I thought they said I had a good day. Now, I didn't mishear them. I'm just that damn clever. But if they do stop me, then I just stay where I'm at. I'll be like 10, 15 feet away from them, and they'll be like, can I see your receipt? And I'll go, yeah. And then they're like, well, come here. And I go, no. You can get off your fat ass and walk all the way over here. You want to check my receipt? I just spent $200 in this bitch buying groceries. No. And if they do try and get rough, my backup plan, I haven't had to do this yet, but I'm going to just dump the whole cart. Be like, here you go. Pick it up. Pick this shit up. Pick these receipts up. You want to treat me like a fucking criminal? Do it up. You want to see me be an asshole? Today's the day. So I got a whole list of things for them if they want to push it. But yeah, I can't stand Walmart. I always give them the 1 star. I check out and I hold up and it puts the 5 stars up there. 1 star. It doesn't matter if I had a good day or not. Give them that 1 star rating. Let them know how much they suck. Garrett, breaking. Bill Gates warns of possible thousands of deaths if President Trump and Elon don't reinstate foreign aid funding. That's hilarious. I will never take advice from Bill Gates. Skulls, the real question is, where's the Klausmeister? He was sitting here with me when I was putting the schedule together. He must be doing a parameter check. Was it Ralph? Happy freedom to you. Loves, BJ's in the break room. I didn't know. Is that like a benefit? When did that start? When did that policy start? What's up, Jules? Happy freedom to you. Ralph, are all these agencies only Democrats? There has to be some swampy Republicans. Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be. The rhinos and stuff. The thing is we're only hearing the Democrats crying. But there's Republicans that are up on Capitol Hill being real quiet. And it's because they're all involved in the mess. Like these leaders on Capitol Hill, some of them are okay, but the majority of them are bad news bears. So I imagine at some point we'll start seeing corrupt Republicans. The only reason we know about the corrupt Democrats is because they're so loud. They're so loud. Like Maxine Waters standing there next to the security guard like, are they going to shoot us? If we're lucky, like fuck. It's like they're just loud. They're crying. Oh, a threat to our democracy. The rhinos on Capitol Hill, they just get quiet. They try to find their little hill that they want to die on. They get loud and they talk like what they're saying really matters. But then when the corruption comes out, then they're like twiddling their thumbs, sitting in there in the background music. They're like, or in the background, they're like jazz music. They're like, nah, don't bring any attention over here because their pockets are full of corrupt doll hairs. Wayward, I'll take one Amish chick over 10 wands. Yeah. Those Amish, they're tough. They're tough, and they get shit done. They don't be doing no lollygagging. Josh 1776, Mitch McConnell ain't loud. He just groans. Yeah, while he's seizing up on camera. D-Cat, stop being so brutal. You know you're a better person than that. D-Cat, if I was being brutal, I'd flip my card over, make them walk over there, grab the receipt out of my hands, and while they do, I'll grab onto them and piss my pants really hard. Like, you don't know what brutal is. I could take it way too far, but no, it'll be fine. One day we won't have to go to Walmart. We'll just pull up out front, and they'll bring our groceries and throw them in the back of the Subaru. Anyways, we're going to move forward here. Like I said, we got Zelensky crying his little eyes out. It's titled, Ukraine Won't Accept Peace Deal Without Input. Well, nobody asked his permission to go talk to the Russians, and now he's mad. Anyways, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and you're using the Rumble app, you're unable to see the big red subscribe button. So you got to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat. And like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We have chapstick emojis, scream and goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's pull up Zelensky here, crying like a little baby. See, and we heard this last week, I think it might have been Friday or Saturday. J.D. Vance went over there, spoke to the world leaders, was talking about peace and all this stuff, but then he went in front of the world leaders and was talking about how free speech is important. That really pissed Germany off. And then after that happened, Zelensky started going out there and saying, no, there is no peace deal. There's no peace talks. None of this is happening. And he was kind of making it sound like it was fabricated. Now we're in a position where peace talks are happening in Russia between us and Russia, and Zelensky found out. He's upset. He wasn't included. Now he's basically saying he doesn't want peace. He's stomping his feet, throwing a temper tantrum. Mama's not giving him a ba, and now we gotta listen to him cry. Hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get this rolling.
Ukraine is not participating in these talks. Ukraine knew nothing about them. Ukraine regards any negotiations on Ukraine without Ukraine as negotiations with no result. And we cannot acknowledge anything, any arrangements about us that were made without us. And we will not recognize such agreements.
News Nation's Kelly Meyer has the details from the White House this morning. Kelly, what can the United States get out of these talks if a peace deal really is off the table without Ukraine's input?
That's a good question, Marky. Good morning. A few things for the U.S. that they're hoping for here. One is that this leads to a deal. Two is it helps restore U.S.-Russia relations for the future. And three, that this could be the beginning of the conversation that leads to President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin meeting face-to-face. So these historic talks happening in Saudi Arabia right now, they actually just went to a lunch break between Russia and the U.S. This is as President Trump is pushing for a deal to end the war in Ukraine. These talks today, Ukraine insists they knew nothing about. And you're looking at this video here. And if you've been following the invasion from the start, this video is something you never thought you would see. Two former Cold War foes sitting across the table from each other. Secretary of State Marco Rubio across from Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and an aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Rubio there alongside U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and President Trump's envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. So Lavrov says the talks will focus on ending the war in Ukraine and restoring, quote, the whole complex of Russia-U.S. ties. President Trump is insisting ahead of the talks that Putin wants peace here, but it comes as Russia launched a drone attack on Ukraine hours before officials from Washington and Moscow came together there. But Ukrainian President Zelensky says Ukraine not only isn't attending the talks, but they didn't even know they were happening until just before they began. However, Zelensky will be in Saudi Arabia tomorrow for a long-planned trip, his office says. Zelensky says anything that comes out of the talks will not be recognized. And the Ukrainian president says Trump's Ukraine envoy is set to visit Ukraine this week, and he wants to take him right to the front lines. And one interesting response from another world leader, Marky, is China's foreign ministry spokesperson welcoming the effort between the U.S. and Russia this week, but saying that China expects, quote, all parties to the Ukraine war to sit together for peace negotiations. And that comes after President Putin's press secretary said that the Russian president is now willing to negotiate with Zelensky, quote, if necessary. Putin had previously refused to negotiate with Zelensky, calling his rule in Ukraine, quote, illegitimate. Marky.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com.
All right, like I said, Zelensky's crying his little eyes out there. And we heard President Trump live speak about this, and he was like, he's acting this way because he wants to, not because we're doing anything wrong. He's the one over there just crying in the corner. And the thing is like, what does he want? Okay, he wants to be involved in the talks. Okay, you want to come out to Russia? Oh, you don't? Oh, well, that's where the meeting's fucking happening, so what do you want to happen? You know, like, it's weird that he's making such a big stink about this. Like, you either want peace or you don't. And the thing is he don't care about peace. He cares about checks in the mail. Like, they got the draft going on over there. They're ripping 20-year-olds out of school to send them to war. So he doesn't care about this shit. He cares about checks. Otherwise, he wouldn't be behaving the way he is. He's on TV right now telling everybody, oh, well, without us, there's no peace, blah, blah, blah. Well, you don't sound like somebody who cares about peace. You sound like you are worried about being discluded. You'd have to agree to something for there to be peace. What do you think you're being discluded from? Like, I don't know. It's a really weird situation. He's acting like a spoiled brat. That's what it looks like to me. Anyways, next up we got Green Berets heading to train Mexican troops. Now, this has to do with fighting the cartel. Also has to do with protecting the border. But there's an interesting story kind of like hidden in the video here. There's been a Border Patrol agent who's been arrested for human trafficking and drug distribution. I don't know if it's cartel had infiltrated or if they flipped an American who was working as the Border Patrol, but he was helping them. He was helping them with human trafficking and drug distribution. He was bringing fentanyl over and stuff. And you don't see that story. President Trump wasn't asked about that, right? That story is being hidden for some reason. And I don't know if it's because there's so much patriotic stuff going on. People aren't tired of winning yet, so they don't want to talk about our side being corrupt. But they are. There is people who are corrupt, and thankfully it sounds like they're going to be held accountable. Chrissy Noem had spoke about it. I'm sure if you go to X, you look at her page, she's been talking about this because this is kind of in her field right now, and she's saying they're going to hold this guy accountable. Like, he's going to have the whole law thrown at him because he's supposed to be a respectable person, right? He's a border agent, and instead of doing his job and upholding his oath to the Constitution, he's helping the cartel. And, like, to me, that feels like traitor. But it's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Ms. Zelensky here crying. Russell, the meetings in Saudi Arabia, is that Russia? If it's in Saudi Arabia and that's not Russia, then how come Zelensky didn't want to be a part of that? Or is that why he's crying? Because maybe he could have. See, geographically, I have no idea where any of those countries are. They're outside of America, and that means I don't care about it. But either way, lots of crying going on. Russell was probably blackmailed. That could be. It's weird how much blackmail stuff goes on. I feel like it's hard for people to blackmail you if you don't do anything wrong. I've never had anybody try to blackmail me for anything. It'd be difficult to blackmail me. I'm very honest about everything. I don't have skeletons in my closet. I just don't. 10 man, the Dems spoiled him. They did. And now we got to deal with it. He's like, I'm going to be Antifa. We're like, we don't care, bud. We don't care at all, Ms. Zelensky. Jay Spray, Putin would shoot him point blank, war over. Yeah. Well, and that's what I figured too. Like, Zelensky can't handle it on his own. That's what he needs us for. We're trying to get the shit solved. He doesn't like the way we're doing it. Cry hard for us. I don't know what else to say. Like, what if we just leave him to it? Like, okay, we'll enjoy the invasion and then cut ties with him. No money, no weapons, no nothing. Just let us know when you ain't got anybody on your team left. We'll just come in and pick up the pieces. We'll come drill the oil and stuff. Because that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Like, he doesn't like the way we're doing things, but he can't handle it on his own. Well, you can't, beggars can't be choosers. So I don't know. I think it's all about money. Thank you, Snooks. I appreciate the compliment. Russell, Saudi Arabia's in the Middle East, so they're like by Iraq and all that. Well, I don't know. Maybe he should have been invited to the party. Maybe he's got a reason for all those boo-hoos. What's up, Amish? Happy freedom to you. Blackmail could be threats against your family, too. It's not just you doing wrong. I mean, I guess I could see that. I suppose. I don't know. See, that's why you gotta protect your family. I guess. I don't know. That's a weird thing. See, everybody I'm connected to knows what's going to happen. I get targeted a lot by all kinds of different people. So the people around me know that they can't be involved in what I do on camera. They know that what to look for in suspicious people. We got stuff in place. Everybody's armed. Things like that. If you're connected to me, you're potentially put in danger in real life. And so they have all been put on notice about it. So if something was going to happen, people already know what to expect. Now, that's just how I handle things. I don't know how other people do things in the world. But if somebody was to try and blackmail me or put threats on my family or something like that, they'd have their work cut out for them. Because I have been involved in violence since I've been born. So, I don't know. I look and worry about that stuff. But I could see how that could be potentially dangerous, right? You got elderly people in your life. You have vulnerable people in your life who cannot defend themselves and stuff like that. You wouldn't want threats against them. So I could see that form of blackmail being a big deal, especially on a world scale, right? Like whatever his name is, Zelensky, right? He's got the whole world looking at him. So, I mean, I could see it like that. It's a plastic quack. Happy freedom to you. Bobby, I'm blackmailing myself. I'm crazy like that. Well, don't do like what is his name? I can't think of his name, but he claimed that he had a hate crime. He got his ass whooped by a bunch of white dudes, and then they found out it was all fake. It was all made up. Don't do that. Don't go that route, Bobby. DCAT, I agree. Zelensky is just a con man who's been ripping everyone off just to make him and his family wealthier, in my opinion. Yeah, he does. I don't know. From what I've seen, it doesn't really seem like he cares a lot about his country. That he just uses those people, and I don't know, like there's an alternative, like an ulterior motive happening here, some secret agenda. Jab, greedy bastards, or greedy, wait a minute, what is this? A greedy bastard wanting 250 billion from Europe now. Yeah, and I wonder if they're still talking about NATO. Because I don't know a lot about NATO, but I know it comes up every once in a while. And he keeps getting rejected. The rejection. Yeah, Smollett. Yeah, Astral Hammer. That's what I'm talking about. Happy freedom to you, Astral Hammer. What's up, Rich? Happy freedom. Both Bush presidents were corrupt? Yeah, I think so too, Rich. I don't know a whole lot about Bush Sr. I haven't heard anybody say anything good about him ever. And I remember when George W. Bush was president, they made a lot of fun of him on Family Guy. The 911 day happened. Never heard anything about him either. Nothing good about him. Somebody threw a shoe at him. That was entertaining, but that was about it. What's up, Daniel? Happy freedom to you. Everything. Happy freedom to you. I can't read that out loud. That's going to make everyone mad, but that's hilarious. Wayward, it's not in his script. Yep, because everything is staged. Pumpkin. I went out in the blizzard to feed the cats and my shoes stuck to the cement. You be safe out there, Pumpkin. All right, hooligans. We're going to move forward. Like I said, this next one is a pretty interesting story. It's titled Green Berets Heading to Train Mexican Troops, which is pretty good on its own. But like I said, they got a border agent kind of story in here where he is involved in human trafficking and drug smuggling. Goodness, it's supposed to be the best of the best. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
As the debates over birthright citizenship and immigration move through the courts, the Green Berets are heading to Mexico for a special mission. News Nation's Jorge Ventura is joining us live with a look at what they're doing and how it's supposed to fortify our border. Jorge.
In Natasha, we are now learning that a U.S. Special Forces 7th Group, also known as Green Berets, will be headed to Mexico to train Mexico's Marine infantry. And they'll also be training those Marines in two types of combat, conventional and non-conventional types. Those U.S. troops will be arriving in Mexico fully armed. That training between the two countries is set to begin tomorrow and last until March 30th. Now, this training between the two countries does come at a time as the U.S. government continues to pressure Mexican officials to crack down on cartels and fentanyl production. News Nation did report that Mexican cartels and Chinese gangs are moving what officials are calling, quote, cocaine of the sea, the endangered totoaba fish, in exchange for chemical precursors needed to produce fentanyl. Additionally, News Nation recently obtained a memo warning Border Patrol agents of a potential shooting attack from the Mexican side of the border that would target U.S. government official and law enforcement. That memo claims that the shooter will make it seem as or appear as if the Mexican government was involved. All this comes after a Mexican cartel member, a Mexican mafia member, and members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua were arrested here in the U.S. this week. That cartel member arrested in Texas is from Cartel del Golfo. The FBI in Houston announcing the arrest of 3 people tied to a multi-state sex trafficking ring. They are all to believe connected to the notorious Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang. But the arrest not only happening here in the Lone Star State, reaching out all the way to Montana. Federal authorities arresting at least 6 known Tren de Aragua gang members. All this comes, Natasha, as here on the ground, Border Patrol agents will stop wearing body cameras immediately after social media posts did reveal on how to break into the U.S. Customs and Border Protection systems and make sure that those locations of Border Patrol agents could be revealed here on the southern border.
Yeah, certainly. And Jorge, we've also heard that a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer has been arrested for allegedly being involved in human smuggling and drug trafficking. What are we learning about this?
This is still a developing story, but we are now learning that a former El Paso Border Patrol agent, Manuel Perez Jr., was arrested for allegedly conspiring to bring illegal immigrants into the United States. Manuel Perez is also allegedly involved in narcotics distribution. Now, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem did take to X to react to the news, saying, quote, to traffic drugs and smuggle humans while wearing the badge is not only a disgusting betrayal of our patriotic Customs and Border Protection agents, but of our nation and the American people. Manuel Perez will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now, Perez is facing multiple charges, including conspiracy to smuggle migrants into the United States. If convicted, Perez does face decades in prison, Natasha.
Jorge Ventura with that live report in Eagle Pass, Texas. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to join.
Interesting. So we're training Mexico troops. Let me see if it says specifically what they are. No, just Mexican troops to try and protect their side of the border. We're already protecting our side of the border, and then along the way we got a Border Patrol agent who's being charged with conspiracy to human smuggling. Now, we've talked about those conspiracy charges before over the years. It is hard to beat conspiracy charges. That means that somebody thinks that you're doing something and you have to prove that they're thinking wrong. Like, that is hard to do. You can convince people of things, but you can't change what they think. And so that is a very hard charge to beat. What I'm trying to figure out is, why didn't they give him treason? He gave an oath to the Constitution. He knows right from wrong. He's a Border Patrol agent, and his job is to protect the border. Human smuggling and drug trafficking obviously is not protecting the border. You're endangering our country, which is it's a breach of your constitutional oath. How is that not treason? How does that not make him a traitor? I mean, if we send soldiers overseas and the soldiers start helping the enemy, that immediately is treason. So I don't understand how this is any different. Now, they're saying he's facing decades in prison and all of that, and we'll see how accountability treats him because, well, there's a new sheriff in town. So we'll see how it goes. They might make him an example since they already got their hands on him. We'll see. Maybe there's a follow-up video. Like I said, they're saying that last part really quiet. That stuff should be like breaking news. Like, yo, we caught a Border Patrol agent behaving like the cartel. Nope. It's not. It wasn't even the main story in this video. So maybe we'll have a follow-up. I'm hoping we do, because I'd like to see how they're going to treat this guy, because I bet he's not the only one. We have a ton of Border Patrol agents, And what I think it is either the cartel infiltrated and this guy's actually cartel, or the cartel flipped him somehow. And I'm sure out of all the Border Patrol agents, he's not the only guy getting flipped. The other thing is that Biden had Border Patrol doing this as their job for the last 4 years. Instead of protecting the border and keeping the fuckers out, instead they're processing them and bringing them into the country, which is against their constitutional oath. So while this is going on, and we all know about all of this, now the border's locked down, this guy's being charged with human trafficking and drug smuggling. Think about how much crap he must have been involved in for them to actually say that. Because technically all Border Patrol agents who have been on the border for the last 4 years, they've kind of all been involved in human trafficking to a certain degree. Because they're allowing unknown, undocumented illegals into the country. So technically, they're all involved in human trafficking. This guy's the first guy that we're hearing being charged with it. He must have been involved in all kinds of crap that he shouldn't have been involved in. That's my opinion, at least. Next up, we have this very interesting story that we've been talking about off and on the entire live. Astonishing. Elon Musk's DOGE exposes age range in Social Security database. Now, that's a vague title, but what they're talking about is there's age groups between 110 years old and 369 years old, and there's millions of people categorized in this age group that are all receiving Social Security checks right now. Now, President Trump spoke about it. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the live. That is coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this border agent situation, as well as our Green Berets going to train Mexican troops. Ten Man, who's saying that it's a true Border Patrol agent? Just saying, well, Kristi Noem is, and she's the head of DHS. So I mean, I assume he really is a Border Patrol agent, but maybe not. Maybe it's semantics. Snooks, I feel that you're right on the border agent. Big bribes can do a lot. Yeah, I suppose. See, I'm always worried about taxes and stuff, so if somebody offered me $1 million to do something that I don't believe in, I wouldn't take it. Because as soon as I get the $1 million hairs and I go to buy a house, or I go to buy a new Bentley, or I go to buy Hooligan Island, they're going to want to know where the money came from. Anytime you make a big purchase, that's what they want to know. Where did it come from? Where did you get that money from? Especially if you're doing wire transfers and stuff. They want to know that they're not laundering illegal money, like criminal cash and stuff like that. So unless you're already well off, there's no point in receiving 1 million illegal doll hairs, because you'll never get away with spending it. It will always be breadcrumbs leading you to corruption. It will always be connecting you. So there's no point in taking bribes or anything like that. So, like, I don't know. I think about a lot of this stuff. It'd be really hard for them to flip me, but these Border Patrol agents, you know, maybe they're in a sticky situation. Snook's offshore accounts matter. That doesn't matter when you're buying a house. I've tried to buy a house, and I had somebody willing to give me like $30,000 to be able to put the down payment down on the house. And the bank told me that they wouldn't accept the money. That if I was gifted a large sum of money and I couldn't prove where it came from, that I'd have to sit on it for like 5 years before they would be willing to accept it for a down payment on a mortgage. So it's not some simple thing. It's not. You got to be well off. You have to already have your house, have your cars, have your businesses, all this shit. Then you get a bunch of suspicious money. Nobody knows that you got it. They assume that you earned it because you're already established and well off. But if that's not you and you receive a lump sum of criminal cash, good luck spending it. You're going to be wheeling and dealing. You're going to have to launder the money. And then now you're committing even more crimes, right? You see how this is what I'm saying. You got to make good choices. Don't go out here and try and cut corners. It ain't worth it. Russell, I swore an oath and I've always followed it. Oh, I believe you, Russell. Russell, training Mexican troops is a good thing. I think so. I was feeling kind of suspicious about it. Because remember, we were training, oh my God, which terrorist organization was it when we left Afghanistan? When we pulled out, we were training all those guys. I don't know if it was Al-Qaeda or one of them. Train those guys to be able to defend things at the level that we do. And then what do? They turn around and use that shit against us. Same thing with like ISIS. Like, you think they were building those Toyotas over there? Nah, we imported that shit. And it's like we always end up training our enemies. and then we leave them a large lump sum of weapons and stuff. And then we wonder why they're killing our troops. It's like, I don't know. So when I heard that we were training Mexican troops, that was my first thought. Like, great, we're going to have another ISIS situation where we train these assholes and one day they use this shit against us. But if they're actually going to protect the border, good. At least they'll be more efficient. And some of the stories that we've covered lately regarding Mexico is their cartel is using drones that have been weaponized, self-destructing drones or drones that drop bombs and stuff like that. So this should help Mexico troops be able to defend themselves against the cartels even better. So it should be a good thing. Man is supposed to start snowing around 8 o'clock. Well, hopefully it doesn't stick, 10 man. You guys are cracking me up. Turbo training them to do Sesame Street, apparently. No, that's different. That's different. Sending Sesame Street to Iraq as part of the USAID. I wonder how much money we were spending on that. I know it was billions. Stoner, my drug dealer said it was gambling winnings and that it was World Series of Poker once. That's interesting, Stoner. Yeah, the thing is when you go to the casino and you win, they make you sign tax papers right there. You got to sign 1099s. He should have said he had a lemonade stand, because there's no paperwork for that. There is no paperwork for that. That's the only reason why it's illegal to run lemonade stands, is because most people don't pay taxes on it, which is really funny. I worry a lot about taxes. My tax time is coming up, and I have to do this paperwork and stuff. I'm not excited about it. Last year, I think I had to create like 600 documents to cover all my taxes just so I could pay the government thousands of dollars. I worry about taxes. I don't want anybody knocking on my door. What's up, Fresca Bean? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Master Meatball? Happy freedom to you. What rides will be on Hooligans Island? Well, we'll have to figure that out, Master Meatball. We got to get the island first. Hard nipple weather. Who said that? Bobby. It is. What's up, Cash Flow? Happy freedom to you. Get them the F out of this country. Well, they are. They're sending them out. I think at this point they need more agents to help them remove the illegals. They have all the places to take them now. It's been about a week since we've heard the numbers. The last time we covered it, they said they were doing 1,500 illegals a day. They were arresting them. They weren't doing them, you hooligans. But that was the last I heard, and we're doing the math and stuff. It's going to take years to get rid of 25 million illegals at 1,500 a day. They're going to have to get those numbers up, but I haven't heard an update about it yet. Rich, they threw everything they had at Trump and came up short. Yeah. Well, that seems to be the theme. The theme of the song and dance here. Like too big to rig. That's how it goes. I don't know, President Trump, he's killing it. He is doing fantastic. It's the damn White House media that I can't stand, but everybody else, they are doing great. I'm Janet. I swear we should have the IRS do their jobs. There's no way we should have to hire a third-party company to do taxes. It's highway robbery. Yeah, I'm Janet. I know. I agree. Miss Gen X, I want a refund ASAP. They owe us a lot of money. All this money they've been blowing at the USAID, they owe all of us a refund. I don't think anybody should have to pay the taxes this year. What's up, Bloopy? Happy freedom to you. Tactical Dragon Professor Mac on Hooligans Island. Oh, I don't know about all that. Living it up, though. What's up, Ball? Happy freedom to you if I can get you all ready. What's up, Sniffing Glue? Happy freedom to you. I tip on my taxes. You better be careful, Sniffing Glue. I told my tax guy that because he's always trying to find tax write-offs and stuff. And I'm like, no, just give them whatever the hell it is they want because I don't want them bothering me. And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, just throw like an extra $10, $20 on there just in case. He's like, if you do that, you're going to get a fine for filing the wrong taxes. I'm like, yeah, but they're getting extra money. He's like, and that's a fine. I was like, well, fuck. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. What's up, Rodney? Happy freedom to you. They found trillions. We might get some of it. No, I don't know who's spreading that news. We ain't gonna get nothing. We're not getting kickbacks because they found trillions of dollars. They have a crazy amount of cryptocurrency right now. Crazy, like a very large amount of Bitcoin the government owns right now from confiscating it from criminals. Why don't they just give that to us? They don't even have a way to spend crypto unless they're doing it, buying illegal goods. Why don't they give that to us? Because they don't wanna. Because that's the way the government is. They're not going to give us any money. What's up, Jem? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Vinny C? Training Mexican army is like training the drug cartels. That's what I'm worried about, Vinny C. What's up, CC? Happy freedom to you. Pulling federal funding from the states will speed it up. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are susceptible to that. Schools have been put on notice. If they don't roll back their DEI programs and all that kind of stuff, they're going to lose their federal funding. Same thing with these states. They want to keep being sanctuary states and they want to aid and abet and harbor illegals and stuff. They're going to lose their federal funding, and it's going to be really interesting. What sucks about it, though, is they're going to blame it. They're going to blame it on Trump. That's what's going to happen. Like, look at New York, right? New York is a shithole, and it's full of illegals, and they're constantly being rounded up, and the elected officials there, not Mayor Eric Adams, but all the rest of them, they're constantly trying to protect the illegals. So, say Trump ends the funds for New York, right? Well, then they're going to have protests, and they're going to have elected officials go out there and say, well, it's Trump's fault that we don't have enough money to do this, that, and the other, because he took away our federal funding because he's a Nazi. And that's what they're going to say. And the normies are going to hear that and they're going to go, why is the federal government withholding money from the state of New York? And they're going to feel like it's a communist regime or something. They're not going to think to Google with their fat thumbs to figure out why the federal funding has been taken, because normies are lazy and stupid. And so, I don't know. I think that's what's going to happen. But at least we'll know that it's a good thing once it starts. Wayward, I'm sure the cartel is in a lot of pockets and threatening people into obeying. Yeah, Wayward. Yeah, I could see that. All right, hooligans, we're going to move forward here. Like I said, this next one is this interesting story we've all been pretty much waiting on. The next one's more fun than anything, so this is almost the last little bit of our news. But this is titled Astonishing. Elon Musk's DOGE exposes age range in Social Security database. Now, this is a story where they're talking about that there's age groups between 110 years old and 369 years old, and there's millions of these people, and they're all collecting Social Security checks. And nobody knew it until like yesterday. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick, you need to go check out the Only Hooligan shop. Now, right now, there is prints on there that you can purchase with iconic hooligan designs, but there's still Christmas ornaments there if you were unable to purchase Christmas ornaments for Christmas, because we came out with them a little bit late. But we're going to constantly be adding on to the Only Hooligan store. Now, this shop was created by Alistair, and so anything you purchase from the Only Hooligan shop does support the live. It also supports Alistair, who's our lead graphic design artist, and it's good stuff. Plus, Alistair makes everything that's on the shop. He makes it himself, and there's all kinds of stuff coming. We might even have chip clips on the way, which is going to be hilarious. But we have a lot of ideas for new things that are coming to the Only Hooligan shop, so definitely go check it out. Like I said, we're going to get into this video here about, well, vampires receiving Social Security. That's where it boils down to that. The vampires got to be the ones doing this. Hit that thumbs up button if you got one, and let's get into this.
waste. Well, the numbers are just incredible. Liz Peek, let's get into it. Elon Musk posted this graphic on X showing how many people in what age group there are accepting these Social Security checks. It's just pretty incredible that you see ages 110 to 119, 3.6 million. If you're 120 to 129, 3.5 million. I mean, last time I checked, Liz, there was no one in America that's 140 years old.
But if there is someone 140 years old, Maria, they sure deserve Social Security payments, and I'm all for it. Look, there are two astonishing things here. Number one, that this sloppiness and the fraud and waste has gone on for so long. Obviously, this is not something that happened overnight. It is incredible to me that people working in our government have had such laziness, such inertia, that they have never even bothered to look at these numbers that apparently are pretty easy to find. Number two, what's really incredible is that anyone is objecting to this because, as Caroline Levitt pointed out, this isn't just about hauling in all those illegal and fraudulent and wasteful payments. It is about making sure that if you're 60 years old, you're going to get Social Security payments from a healthy institution for the next many years. So how can anyone object to this? I have no idea.
Well,
All right, so I want to look at these numbers really quick here. So age group between 110 and 119 years old, there is 3.6 million people who are supposedly in that age group collecting Social Security. Then between the ages of 120 and 129, there's another 3.5 million people collecting Social Security. Then between the ages of 130 and 139, there's another 3.9 million people collecting. Then between the ages of 140 and 149, there's another 3.5. So just right there on the screen, because there's more, just between 110 and 149, there is like 120 or 135 million people supposedly collecting these checks. But like I said, there's a little bit more here. From 140 to 100, no, we did that. From 150 to 159, another 1.5 million. From 160 to 169, 121,000 people. From 170 to 179, 6,000 people. Like, and it just keeps going. Now, there's only one person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person between the age of 360 and 369. There's two people there that are supposedly collecting Social Security. That's a shit ton of people that are way beyond human age. So they obviously need to do something about this. Like, something. Now, this money's not going to come back to us. It's not going to. But maybe it'll prolong the life of Social Security. Like, I've been told my whole life that by the time I'm 62, there's not going to be Social Security. That it will run out before I'm ever eligible to collect. Well, if we didn't have 300 million people collecting Social Security fraudulently, because obviously this is fraud, or they're vampires, it's one or the other. If that wasn't happening, maybe there's a chance I'll be able to collect some Social Security when I hit 62. We'll see. But either way, I think that this is a really big deal, and it'll be interesting to see what they do about it. Now, like I said, next up we got Senator John Kennedy. It's titled, Democrats Have to Try Harder Not to Suck. It's coming up next, but first we're reading through the chat. See what you hooligans think about the Social Security situation. Russell, they need to find out if the birthday was just a typo, and if not, cancel checks and prosecute. Yep. Well, and I mean, imagine doing this fraud. You're like, okay, I'm going to sign up to pretend I'm 195 years old, and let's see if it works. And then it works? Like, what do you got to do? You got to get somebody's Social Security number or something, and then try and claim on their behalf? I don't even know what it takes to collect on Social Security. I just know you got to be old enough. But it just seems really weird that people are getting away with that. You would, like, I don't know. This is a really stupid thing. The government is really smart and really stupid at the same time. 10 minutes, it's not vampires, it's reparations. No, I don't think it's reparations. I don't think so. Zero. Well, in Jesus' times, they lived like 400 years. Oh, they lived a lot longer than that. But yeah, I don't think we have biblical figures that are collecting Social Security, because everything that you need comes from Jesus. So anybody who was that old, right, the people who were becoming like 1,200 years old, they were like talking to God directly. So they don't need money from the government. They're good to go. Matt, born in the 1780s. I mean, still kicking too, doing good. Turbo, I bet most of these people were in nursing homes, and that's where the SS money is going, to the homes they used to be in. I bet you're right, Turbo, because those nasty nurses in those old folks' homes, they were doing terrible things for the elections. We covered that during the election. People were in nursing homes coercing elderly people to vote according to how that nurse felt that they should vote. We even covered a video where you could see the nurse grab the hand of an elderly woman and circle in the bubble for Hyena Harris, because that's who the nurse said that lady should vote for. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Remember back in the lockdowns, they were doing all kinds of nasty stuff to those old people, beating them and separating them from their families and poisoning them. You hear about them doing all kinds of terrible things. There's so much elderly abuse in our country. And it's so much that if you go on X, there's videos of that stuff all over the place. I can't stand seeing it. Between people picking on disabled people and picking on elderly people, it's like real evil. That is like real evil in the world. Russell, how many chip clips do I need to order? I'm working on it. I'm still not sure what the dimensions are. Alistair did, I don't know. I don't want to share it because it's not official yet. He did send me some concept photos, but I'll wait till he actually gets some stuff together and we'll talk about it. But he is trying to get those chip clips together. You cannot attach them to your wiener, though. We have a disclaimer. You can't do that. That's not what they're for. It's just a joke. You got to use them as chip clips, not wiener clips. 10-man Cash App accounts are ghetto. Cash App is a little bit like the ghetto version of PayPal. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for that $2 donation over on Rumble. I really appreciate you, Patriot Dad. Thank you so much for the support. Ghostly, I don't know. My great-grandmother lived to 101, living on her own well into her 90s without seeing a doctor her whole life. Yeah, I believe it. Some people are just built like that. It's like teeth. Like some people are like 40 years old and have no teeth, and then there's other people who are 95 and they got like perfect teeth. It's in your genes. Jeb, elderly people aren't respected these days. Yeah, well, and I was mentioning it earlier on TikTok. The youngsters over there, they are constantly bragging about not visiting their grandparents, not visiting their parents in old folks' homes, and like glorifying it, celebrating it, saying, oh, well, you were mean to me. I wanted the Power Rangers action figure and you didn't give it to me, so I hope you die alone in the old folks' home by yourself. I hope you choke on your applesauce. Like, just mad and cynical for no reason. And I think that's influence. I think that influences more people. When I was younger, you couldn't raise your voice to anybody older than you without somebody just slapping you upside the head. You're in the store and you're yelling at grandma. You have a stranger smack you in the back of your neck, roast you. You wouldn't dare step out of line against an older person when I was younger, because you'd get tag teamed right there in the Walmart and nobody would do anything. They'd laugh at you. They'd point and stare at you and laugh at you, getting your little ass whooped for being disrespectful. Nowadays, people do whatever they want. It's a shit show nowadays. What's up, Cobalt? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly, the people who lived that long were way older than Jesus. Yeah. Jesus was only like 34 years old when he died. Most of us are older than Jesus ever became. Cobalt, Americans die in prison in foreign countries that aren't reported to the U.S. too. Yeah, I totally believe that. Roy, happy freedom to you. They've brought up losing SSI as far as I remember, the 70s, the 80s, up until now. Well, I didn't realize it was going on that long. Maybe it's fear-mongering. Fanatical, they should print giant checks and have Elon deliver them to the oldest ones, then film it. I can't remember what that is, where they go knock on the door and they got a big-ass check and they're like, you won, blah, you won the sweepstakes or whatever. That would be hilarious. Jeb, one of them has to be Pelosi. I think you're right. I just didn't realize she was 300 years old. I mean, it makes sense when you say it out loud. What's up, Guess Some? Happy freedom to you. Happy freedom to you, J-Spray. The fun size clips. Yeah, we'll see. Gotta have a disclaimer. I'll be damned if my first lawsuit is somebody suing me because they chip clipped their wiener right off. What's up, C1? Happy freedom to you. I can't believe you can have a cigarette emoji, but I couldn't have Trump emojis. There's like 3 Trump emojis that got banned from Twitch. They wouldn't let me use them because of political reasons. What's up, Lisa? Happy freedom to you. Janet, publishers cleaning house. Yep. I want to know what the accountability is going to look like for the Social Security situation. What's up, Corn Pop? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Dark Watch? Happy freedom to you. Dark Watch. Speaking of elderly people, I'm a Trump supporter, but man, he repeats himself more than my grandma. It's because people do not retain information. They don't. I say a lot of stuff that I say it every day. And then I still get questions, right? Like you guys hear me talk about the link tree 4 or 5 times every single day. And I still have people hit me up and be like, how do I find the link for this? Or like, how do I get into Discord? Or like, it's on the link tree. Everything's on the link tree. And I say it every single day. And people watch it every single day. And then they still ask me. So when I cover almost every single Trump rally, right? There's only 4 that I've missed or something like that in the last 2 years. And he does say the same thing every day. But I don't get burnt out by it because I understand that not everybody's listening all the time. People are staring at their phones. They're eating food. They're playing with themselves a little pocket pool because they're bored, whatever it may be. But our attention spans are really short because of social media, being on our phones, constantly, consuming media. And so our attention spans are really short. So if you got a long-winded speech or you're like me, you just be rambling for 2.5 hours. People can't retain all the information. So President Trump, instead of, like, when I look at President Trump and the way he talks, instead of thinking of him as being repetitive, I look at it like he's consistent. He's not changing what he's saying from day to day, because that's how corruption happens. That's how misleading can happen, right? Confusion, things like that. So if he stays true to his word and he just says the same thing every day, it means he's sticking with the plan. He's being consistent. But I see that a lot in the chat. People are like, man, I wish he'd say something different. He just says the same thing every day. But that's because we consume it every day. For the normies out there who are not watching the news and they get their news from their coworkers or their uncle or their buddy or whatever, when they hear President Trump, the things that they're hearing is for the first time. It's just because we consume so much of it that it sounds very repetitive. It sounds redundant. But I've changed my perception of it as he's consistent. And it's a little bit easier to consume with that point of view, that he's being consistent. Because then when he does change phrases, it becomes that much more obvious. And it kind of is a tell to tell you, hey, something happened in the background. Because he used to say this, and now he's phrasing it this way. So something happened to make him adjust, because he's very to the plan. And so that's just how I've changed my perception to make it easier to consume his content. I think he has purpose behind it. CC, it's the aliens. Tall white ones collecting SS. The Greys. It probably is the Greys. Guess you're becoming a night owl. I mean, I guess. Janet, preach. I would like to retire. Yeah, me too. The only way I'm retiring is if somehow you guys donate $1 million. That's the only way I'm retiring. Otherwise, there ain't no retiring. What's up, artists? Happy freedom to you. Biden voters from 2020. Yep, you're right. What's up, Teasel? Happy freedom to you. What's your name? What's up, Zyclone? I think that's how you say your name. Happy freedom to you. Everything. The Bible says kids will turn against their parents. Yeah. It's true. It also says what's wrong is right and what's right is wrong. And when that happens, you know you're in the end of times. And, well, living in Biden's America for 4 years, it sure felt like we were in the end of times. What people don't realize is the end of times is supposed to take 200 years. So Biden might have kicked us off for the beginning of the 200-year downfall here, where only the elect will be selected to go to heaven. We'll see. We'll see. I don't worry about it. You got to worry about living. You can't worry about dying. Dying is easy. Living is fucking hard. You got to worry about that. Astro Hammer, sorry, Jeff. Some of us hooligans are slower than others. I'm not bitching about it, Astro Hammer. I'm saying I have an understanding that if you're long-winded like me, you can't expect every person to hang on to every word you say. You know, translation, things get lost, and I understand it. I'm not bitching about hooligans at all. Guess him. How do I get to Discord or Rumble? You're already on the website. You don't need those other places. 10 Man, I hope I live long enough to collect my pension. Oh, me too, 10 Man. You'll outlive all of us, most likely. What's up, Mr. Satan? Happy freedom to you. Stoner, well, if I win the lottery, I'll only give you 900,000 then. That way I can keep watching the show. Well, Stoner, so when I retire, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop working. It just means that I don't have to worry as much about working. I don't know what life would be like without the live, because my life consists of going live. I'm on call 24 hours a day, and I have been since, May. Let me check the calendar here, because I know it's coming up. May 30th or May 31st, like 2019. I've been on call every day since then. I don't know what I would do without the live. Go crazy. What's up, Silver Wolf? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into this next one. Like I said, this is news, but it's also John Kennedy, so it's really funny. He says a lot of funny stuff in this video. It's titled, Senator Kennedy Says Democrats Have to Try Harder Not to Suck.
Here with the...
They be sucking. They be sucking in a bad way. Anyways, hit that like button if you got one, and let's get into this.
Here with the best reaction we could ever want. Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. You know what this makes me want to do? I have friends that own Teslas. And if they're going to have a boycott and try to harm Elon Musk for exposing waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption, you know what? I think my next car, I'm going to really look into a Tesla. I think that's going to be my next car.
Well, with respect to Ms. Crow, I'd make a couple of points, Sean. Number one, Ms. Crow's entitled to her opinion. Number two, I think she means well. But if she ever had a clever thought, it died alone and afraid. I think, point three, I think that it should not go unnoticed that President Biden got a lot of his advice from pop singers and movie stars and people who partied with Harvey Weinstein, and we know how that turned out. In terms of the Democrats, I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it. Over the past 4 years, The Democrats mismanaged Congress, they mismanaged COVID, they mismanaged the economy, they mismanaged inflation, they mismanaged the national debt, they mismanaged Afghanistan. More recently, in their opposition to President Trump and Mr. Musk, the Democrats have chosen to support the bureaucrats and the spending porn over the American taxpayer, just like they support illegal immigration over the rule of law, just like they support transgender athletes over women's sports, just like they support Hamas terrorists over Israel. All Democrats are not like this, but the party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. I know these people. They think women, they think men can breastfeed. They're triggered by race. They cry if you use the wrong pronoun. And most fair-minded Americans look at this and they go, these people are about 10 exits past normal. And that's what's killing the Democrats right now, in my opinion.
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt this. Keep going.
No, I'm done.
Okay, spending porn, and they got to try harder not to suck. And I can't keep up. One question people ask me about you, they like, is this extemporaneous from Senator Kennedy, or does he actually think this out ahead of time? Does this just flow naturally for you?
About 5 minutes before an interview, my staff knows to leave me alone. And if I know the topic, I start thinking about, I've got maybe 4 minutes, and I start thinking about how I'm going to frame it. Sometimes I say things that I shouldn't, but as I've told you before, God made me, and God gave me the right to remain silent, but not the ability.
Well, I appreciate it, but, it is interesting what you're saying, because what have they doubled down on? They doubled down on waste, fraud, and abuse and corruption, which will end up being hundreds of billions, if not more. They doubled down on men and women's sports and doubled down putting the rights of illegal immigrants, including known terrorists, murderers, rapists, cartel members, gang members, over the safety of Americans. That's kind of dumb.
Well, it is. And frankly, it's bad for our country. I mean, it's good for, I'm a Republican, it's good for my party. What I tell my colleagues is just, look, we just need to stay calm. We need to stay calm as a Hindu cow and just go about our work and get our bills passed and let the Democrats be the Democrats. And so far it's working. You never interfere with your opponent when he's kicking his own ass. So that's what's going on.
I think that is very sound counsel, advice. And if this is where, if they're not going to look out for working men and women and their safety and security and their money, I'm happy with them staying right where they are. Bad for the country if they ever get power, but they're not in power. Senator, we appreciate you more than you know. Thank you.
I love that. John Kennedy is such a badass. And I thought that video was really great. That's why I decided to put it at the end of the schedule there. Because that is the last little bit of the news I have for you hooligans today. We are going to get into the fun stuff coming up next. We're going to open today's door from the Advent calendar that was sent to us by Josh1776. Then we got 2 funny videos of the day. And like I said, all of that's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about John Kennedy. He said, God gave me the right to be silent, but not the ability. I love that. He cracks me up. Jay Spray, one of the only older men in government these days who still has a brain. I agree. Mitch McConnell, he ain't witty like that. He freezes up. Tim Hayes speaking common sense. I agree. Russell, love that dude. Yeah, he's so funny. Russell, the Dem Party is controlled by commies. They are. And they enjoy it. That's, like I said, we've covered a lot of the Antifa people back when the riots were still happening, and they would complain that America's not a communist country and how they wish it was, because that means everyone would have the same thing. And it was so weird how they would describe it. They'd be like, we'd be like Canada. Canada's not a communist country. They're a little bit like a socialist country, but they're not even really that. And they're like, yeah, but we want to be communists like them where we all got health care. No, people are not happy in communist countries, idiots. They're so stupid. You know, Democrats are like that. They're commies and they don't care that they're commies. But then they have the nuggets to try and call other people Nazis. Snugs, hey Dems, try harder not to suck. Yeah. Guess I bet he was one hell of a trial lawyer. Yeah, I bet he was winning cases. He's got good communication skills. Sounds awesome, Patriot Dad. Hope it turns out great. What's up, Real James? Happy freedom to you. Real James, I wish Kennedy was my senator instead of Slotkin and Peters. They are peak suck. Dang, Real James, I didn't even know that was our senator. I don't know anything about those people. I was actually going to say that. I have no idea whose Michigan senators are. I know that we got a bunch of people getting all geared up to campaign for governor, and I'm trying to learn who those people are, because we got to get rid of Whitmer. I'm tired of her campaigning on, we're going to fix the damn roads, and the roads still look like shit, and she keeps putting injections in her face. She looks like Jack Nicholson when he played the Joker. That's exactly what Whitmer looks like. She needs to go sit down somewhere on her big Gretsch. I can't stand her. We got to vote somebody better in, but I haven't really got familiar with the new candidates yet. DCAT, and always remember, West Michigan doesn't mess around, and you know that. Yeah, I know what you mean, DCAT. Jab, he could do stand-up. Oh, I agree. He should go on Joe Rogan. They should put Kennedy on Joe Rogan. He would do fantastic. What's up, Happy Finger? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly, they suck with teeth and it's horrible. I hear you. Oh, Klaus Daniels out there howling. Real James Whitmer thinks she could be president. Yeah, well, she must be high on fentanyl. She's not going to be president. There's no way. Patriot Dad, I want some genuine poutine. Hopefully the 51st state will kick some down. You know, I keep telling Trigger Crazy, I'm like, you gotta bring me an actual poutine. I've made it before just to say that I did, but it ain't the real thing. Dutton, Big Gretch or Big Wretch? Now you call her whatever you want. I'm not impressed with her. You can call her whatever you like. Tony Rich, Kennedy's a wordsmith. Yep, he is. He's got a gift for it. What's up, Heaven Mag? Happy freedom to you. Vinny C, I always have a laugh with Kennedy. Yeah, anytime I come across his videos, they usually land right on the schedule. What's up, Mr. Mad? Happy freedom to you. Wait, we're grabbing by the poutine. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Canadian girls like that or not. They're a little bit liberal. Wayward, he's naturally funny. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got a gift. What's up, Cadillacs? Happy freedom to you. Guess she can't be president. The Fed boys did kidnap her again. You're not wrong. Guess yeah, and then we got the corruption coming out. Finding out Big Gretch is letting staffers run trains on her in the Senate room. It's like, nah, she doesn't belong in the White House. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into the fun stuff. Like I said, we're going to open today's door from the Advent calendar that Josh 1776 sent us. And then we're going to be getting into our two funny videos of the day. The first one's titled The Legend of the Screaming Goat. And then our official funny video of the day is titled How to Handle the IRS. All of that's coming up next, but first I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use that Linktree link in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Like I said, we're going to crack open today's door from the Advent calendar that Josh 1776 sent us. Let's see what we get today if I don't press the wrong buttons here. Holy. Whoa, today is day 7. If I can open this up. Come on now. Today is a difficult one. It's fighting me. There we go. What did we get today? I can't get it out of the box. That's what she said. The color looks a little bit off, but we got one of those badass kids. That's what we got. Very nice. Thank you, Josh 1776. We got the whole crew here. I think when we get to the end, I'll take a picture of all the figures so you can see them all lined up here. We got the whole crew. Like I said, 7 out of 24. Thank you, Josh 1776. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. These funny videos here. Get this all pulled up. I was actually tagged in this video. Let me see who it was that tagged me. Take a gander really quick. Can't show you guys the screen because, well, you never know what's on my timeline. It's not my fault. I'm blaming X. Thank you, Wayward, for sharing out the live. You're a badass. Everything. Everything was the one that tagged me in this video. And it's a pretty good one. So it landed right on the schedule. Like I was saying, this is our first of 2 funny videos of the day. And this is titled The Legend of the Screaming Goat.
Yo, I am hollering. Somebody put this in our bathroom. And it's so funny because they do sound like, y'all watch it, watch it, watch it. That is so funny. Yo,
What I think is really funny is that's going to escalate things and they're going to wonder why they're always out of paper towel. They did it to themselves. The Legend of the Screaming Goat. Now, this is our official funny video of the day. This is titled How to Handle the IRS.
Go fuck yourself. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yes. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. Grab this Linktree link really quick. Drop it in all of the chats for you guys. We're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. All right, there is the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You'll also have access to Hooligans Alley. You'll have access to the forums. You'll have access to the arcade. You'll have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats that gives you the ability to text each other, call each other, video call each other, group texting, group calling, group video calling, and more. JeffMacLive.com is the place to be and the home of the hooligans. So definitely go get yourself a membership. We're going to read through really quick, and then we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Hey, thanks for being here, Josh1776. Thank you, 10 Man. Russell, oh my God, that's great. I'm taping goat pics to the bathroom at work now. It's the way to do it, Russell. Let them know about the legend of the screaming goat. Oh, I hope you start feeling better, Cadillacs. Josh1776, did Oogie glow in the dark? He did not. I was actually surprised because I thought for sure that he was going to glow in the dark, but he does not. That's all right. He's still cool, though. Hey, thanks for being here, Decap. Thank you, Pumpkin. Thank you, Fresca Bean. Bobby, you just farting right in the chat? Come on, man. Thank you, Sage Pup. Happy Finger, do we know if Elon is going after Fort Knox? He's supposed to. I don't know when it's supposed to happen, but he is supposed to audit it. Or, you know, whatever. I don't know how to phrase it, but he is supposed to go and investigate it. Cobalt Joe can interview almost anyone. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he could. It's just more or less that Kennedy would have... He'd be in a good environment to still be funny, but reach a large audience. You know, I think that Joe Rogan and Senator Kennedy would be a good conversation to watch if Joe Rogan could get him on the show. Hey, thank you, Viola. I appreciate you being here with us. This Gen X, the Screaming Goat shenanigans got me rolling. Yeah, it's good stuff. Thank you, Heaven Mag. I appreciate you joining us today. What's up, Hooligans Island? Happy freedom to you. It's snowing dandruff. Well, it's better than, you know, worse than that, I suppose. Better than hail. I don't know what it's doing outside right now. I know that I don't want to look. I know that. It's supposed to be terrible until like next week. I think we're going to see 30s. First time in a long time. Hey, I appreciate you, Wayward. All right, Hooligans. Thank you, guys. All right, it's that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, did the thing. We're going to read through one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind, but we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. We'll be keeping our eyes out for Caroline Leavitt, see if we got any press briefings going on, or if the White House is going to go live with President Trump, we will be checking on that as well. But Coffee with Hooligans will be at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely make your way back. We're going to read through the chat and we're wrapping her up. Fresca Bean, maybe Oogie Boogie glows under the black light. It might. I bet a lot of these do. I bet a lot of these glow in black light because, like, we got bright orange, right? And then we got the ghost. And then this is what we got today. I bet this glows in the black light. So, yeah, I bet they do. I'll have to try it. Maybe I'll make a video. Maybe I'll turn on a black light. I'll set them all up in front of the black light and make a video and we'll cover it once we open everything. Thank you, Pumpkin. Much love to you. Thank you, Rappy. Thank you, MU. Thank you, Tony Rich. Wayward, it'll be snowing fentanyl if we don't take out the cartel drones. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, what if they did fly the drones over the borderline and drop fentanyl packs? They were doing that in prisons. People were using drones to drop goods in the prison yard, and then when they would go out for yard time, they'd be able to pick up care packages and stuff. So I didn't even think about the cartel doing that. Yeah, we're going to have to shut that down. I appreciate you, Matt Rogers. Thank you, Zero. All right, Hooligans, we are wrapping this up. But like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for Coffee with Hooligans. And I'll be paying attention to the White House schedule and President Trump's schedule to see if we can capture a press briefing or any kind of live that President Trump has going on. So definitely look forward to that tomorrow. I hope you Hooligans enjoy your night. Stay warm if you're in a freezing cold state like I'm in. And definitely be safe. Antifa's out there. Democrats are really upset at all this winning. So definitely be safe out there. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you Hooligans. And I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support. And I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.